afternoon, thank you very much and welcome here to Kenny Park in Athenry for the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. It is D-Day, it is Super Saturday, whatever way you want to call it. 6 matches happening throughout the country and something at stake in every single game. We are here for the big showdown between Galway and Kilkenny, the two heavyweights, unbeaten throughout all of 2022 so far, fighting for a semi-final place. The loser will have a spot in the quarter-finals, but neither side are going to want to give anything away. And of course, it's not just Galway against Kilkenny on the field of play, it's Galway against Kilkenny in the commentary box. I'm delighted to be joined by Elaine Aylward. Elaine, anytime Kilkenny and Galway get together, it's always a treat for all supporters.
Absolutely. Look, and they've met at this stage, I think last year as well, down in Callan, and treated us through a real ding-dong battle down there. And look, it's certainly not a dead rubber by any sense. As you said, both teams already qualified. It's just a matter of who qualifies in first and second, and probably a little bit of bragging rights and a bit of momentum then to carry on into a semi-final, hopefully, for the team that wins.
Yeah, the two dressing rooms are nearest at the moment, but their focus was solely on trying to win this game. Join Cork in the semi-finals of the All-Ireland Championship as well. They won't be thinking about quarter-finals, but for the respective managements, while they won't say it out loud, this is their last chance, you would feel, to nail down their team ahead of the business end of the championship.
Absolutely. Look, and no disrespect to the other teams in the group, but this has been the one game that I suppose both sets of managements will have eyed up from the start. You know, they'll have tried out things in the couple of group games. They both had comfortable enough routes to here today. So look, I suppose what they're trying to find out today is what they've learned so far in the group. Does that stand up against, if you're from Kilkenny, does it stand up against Galway? And if you're from Galway, does it stand up against Kilkenny? You know, we know they're two of the top 3 or 4 teams in the country, so you need to see where your team is at, and today is where you do that.
Galway, home team, All-Ireland champions, league champions. We saw them up in Dunloy last week against Antrim. A big victory for themselves too. But then again, they're starting to feel the effects. Injuries. Rebecca Henley we saw go off the last day. We know about Orla McGrath. Katrina Cormacan, we don't know where her status is at the moment. You know, it's an opportunity for players to try and take some of those jerseys.
Absolutely. Look, and we've spoken all along. I think even looking at the intermediate game here today, you know, Galway have a conveyor belt of talent coming through, and they've built a really, really strong panel at senior level over the last couple of years. They've been forced to dig into it. But look, as we saw in Dunloy last weekend, you know, your all-star fullback Sarah Dervin goes down injured, and before she even has a chance to get up, Shauna Healy is in on the field to play, and there's no drop in standards. You know, that's an embarrassment to riches at the moment for Cathal Murray. But as you said, they've been forced to dig into that panel over the last couple of weeks, and you know, I suppose they don't want to come out of today picking up any extra injuries. You know, they've already had to dig deep into that panel, but it's a great complaint to have.
We could make the argument that Kilkenny are coming in under the radar, but I have to remember Kilkenny are unbeaten this year. They have not lost since last year's All-Ireland semi-final. They drew with Cork in the league. We were down in Páirc Uí Chaoimh that day as well. While they've lost some defenders to retirements and injuries, and Aoife Doyle, obviously a massive blow for her during the campaign. Brian Downey will be looking at this game, try and get to this position, 4 wins out of 4. This is the game he's really wanted to do.
Absolutely. Look, and when you look back over the results, I suppose you probably think Galway have had, you know, the higher victories and the bigger margin of victories in the group, but Kilkenny have just been quietly going about their business. As you said, they've lost Megan Farrell, Davina Tobin, Colette Dormer from that defence from last year, and they still find themselves unbeaten all year. So that's a huge achievement, I suppose, and when you put it into context in the championship and where they're at in it. And look, they have a chance now today to test to see if those girls that they brought in to replace those girls can cut it at this level, and that's exactly where you learn it. And I suppose that's what Brian and his management team will look to get out of today.
We're really looking forward to it. Galway against Kilkenny never disappoints, but of course Elaine as well, we mentioned Super Saturday. We'll have the calculators out, we'll have the notepads out. Throughout the country there's big games taking place. Even in this group too, we've Antrim against Limerick up in Corrigan Park. They're fighting for a quarter-final spot. Down against Offaly, they're fighting to avoid relegation. And of course in Group 1 we've covered many games there. Cork are into the semi-finals. Clare are trying to fight against the relegation. They're up against Waterford, but Waterford, Tipperary, Wexford against Dublin. Any 2 of those 4 teams will be quarter-finalists come 5:30 this evening.
Yeah, look, it's exactly what you want going into the last group of games in a championship. There's 12 teams left in the senior championship, all with something to play for. They may not be playing for knockout positions, but as you said, fighting for their status at senior level, trying to stay out of that relegation battle, fighting for a semi-final spot here in Athenry, or fighting for a quarter-final spot elsewhere around the country. So it's going to be a massive hour and a half of Camogie from 4 o'clock onwards, and as you said, you'll need to keep an eye on all signs of results to see who might be going forward and who's finished in the championship.
And we'll do our best with that. You can see there's a game going on in the background as well. That's Galway against Kerry, the intermediate championship, also sorting out their 2 semi-finalists and 4 quarter-finalists. There's Premier Junior games going on as well. We'll give you the result of this game, what's happening in intermediate, before throw-in the senior game as well. But finally, Elaine, before we wrap, but look at the atmosphere. Look at these young players in front of us as well. And of course, the main stand here in Kenny Park, the terrace, the far side of the field. Over 1,300 tickets have been sold as we arrived today. Like, this is a bumper crowd for Camogie.
Absolutely. It's a massive day for Camogie and a massive day for Galway Camogie. You know, to have the double header here, to get the intermediates out ahead of them, to have the underage teams out at half time in both games. games. It's exactly what you want, and it's exactly the way to promote Camogie within a county, and it's a huge day, as I said, across the country for Camogie, but certainly here in Athenry for Galway Camogie.
Well, it's a great day weather-wise. It's a great day to be here, and we'll give you all the action, every puck of the ball from Kenny Park. Galway against Kilkenny in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Throw-in is at 4 o'clock, and beforehand we'll speak to the respective camps. Delighted to be joined on by the Kilkenny Senior Camogie manager Brian Dowling. And Brian, I know it was one game at a time, but 4 wins out of 4. This is the big test you've been looking forward to.
Yeah, look, it's a massive test coming up to Kenny Park here. It's pitch is looking smashing out there, so really looking forward to it now. And I suppose in a couple of hours' time we'll know exactly where we are. You know, we had some good victories, but I suppose this was always going to be the biggest test against the best team in the country. They're the league champions, All-Ireland champions, so we've a huge battle ahead, but we're looking forward to it now.
But your two teams, and of course you know in your own tenure in charge of Kilkenny and been involved beforehand, your two teams always bring the best out of each other. Yeah,
look, we like playing Galway and Galway like playing us. We both go at it and just go and hurl away, and you know, I think we're both good teams, and usually there's physical games, and the hurling is usually good. We had a cracker last year in Callan, and league final last year was good. A couple of All-Irelands last couple of years good. So look, we're very familiar with each other. So look, we're just hoping to come out the right side of it today.
Of course, at the start of the year as well, you lost some players from retirement. Of course, Aoife Doyle, the injury picked up during the year. The team has been finding itself every game, but no doubt there's a few jerseys still up for grabs today.
Yeah, look, we lost 2 players from last year, and I suppose unfortunately we lost Kellyanne and Aoife Doyle with injury this year as well. But look, every team has injuries, and we're not going to make excuses. You know, we have 15 girls that we think are good enough today, and look, they're after gelling well the last couple of weeks. But you know, as I said, this is a massive test, and some of them starting probably in their first big serious game. And you know, who better to test yourself than away to Galway, and we'll see exactly where they are in a couple of hours' time.
And conditions ideal, perfect day for Camogie.
Yeah, look, this is what you want. You know, you want to be playing in conditions like this. I suppose the last couple of days has been very windy and the rain as well. But for July now, we expect the weather to start getting a bit better. So look, the pitch looks smashing out there. So hopefully the ball will be moving fast, and the game will let flow, and we all enjoy it.
Brian, best luck.
Okay, thanks, Aaron.
Delighted to be joined now by Galway Senior Camogie coach Jeff Linsky. And Jeff, just as I said to Brian Dowling beforehand, a test against Kilkenny, a game Galway have been waiting for.
Yeah, look, all campaigns so far we put in performances, but today's a really big day. It decides who goes to semi-final.
Of course, a home game as well. I know you'll be focusing on Amars out in the field to play too, but a great atmosphere here in Kenny Park, even these young Galway supporters behind you.
Yeah, really important to get a crowd here today, and a lot of kids around, a lot of parents around, and the girls are going to need the support and deserve it because they're working so hard over the last year, 2-3 years, and look, unfortunately we've had injuries there the last couple of weeks, and it's important to put a shift in for them girls as well. Just
going to ask you about that, Rebecca Henley, any updating that, a massive blow last week in Dunnoy?
Yeah, Rebecca and Orla, you know, two unfortunate injuries really. You know, they're going to be out for the year. But look, the group needs to deal with that challenge, put in a shift for them today and make them proud of their efforts on the pitch.
It gives an opportunity for others, no doubt some of them will take that chance as well. I know you want to win this game. How important is the result, or is this about nailing down the team for the knockout stages?
Look, it's one less game on the journey. So for us, 3-week build up to the semi-final would be great. But look, at the end of the day, it's going to be a formidable task today. We're going to have to put a shift in, put a performance in. It's going to go down to the wire.
Jeff, thanks a million. Best luck.
Thanks.
That was the Galway Senior Camogie coach Jeff Linsky, and beforehand we heard from the Kilkenny manager Brian Dowling. Galway against Kilkenny here in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, throwing in about 6 minutes time. And as you saw in the intro as well, look at the conditions, look at your screen there at the moment. Elaine, a great day just to be here to see not just the atmosphere but ideal conditions. We know we're going to have a good game of Camogie.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we've had debatable conditions, I suppose, over the last couple of weekends, and changeable, and you wouldn't really know. But look, for the moment here, it looks like it's going to stay warm, it's going to stay sunny, and the pitch, as you said, in immaculate condition. Bit of a breeze, all right, blowing from left to right, so it'll support, I think, Kilkenny probably in the first half, judging by the way the toss went there. But look, other than that, ideal conditions, as you said, a super atmosphere around Athenry from earlier today, from that intermediate game, and it's carrying right through here to the senior game, and as we wait throw in.
Yeah, Galway beat Kerry 2-17 to 6 points. Now intermediate game, the Camogie Association are here. Tottenham all the fixtures, so we let you know in a while exactly who's playing who in the quarterfinals of the intermediate championship in MW Higher, O'Moore Park, Portlaoise next Saturday. And of course, as we've mentioned as well, 6 games happening throughout the country. We'll do our best to keep a tab on everything that's going on as well as we determine which 2 teams are in the semi-finals. We know Cork are one of them. We know the winners of this game will be the other. Should this game finish in a draw, Galway will be in the semi-finals. But of course, matches around the country country, Elaine, and so many contenders with those other quarterfinal spots.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as I said in the intro there, it's brilliant to have that on your final day. You know, as I said, 12 teams, 6 games, and something up for grabs in all of them. You know, teams battling to stay out of the relegation and teams trying to get into the knockout stage of the championship, in some cases for the first time in a long time. So look, we always knew the last weekend of games was going to be exciting, and this was probably going to be the highlight of it in this group. But look, as I said, exciting games across the 2 groups now today, and something at stake for all teams.
Stadium announcers just said 5 minutes to throw in, so we'll run through the 2 teams. We'll start with Galway. One change from the starting 15, and that of course is to replace the A and other, and that'll be Shauna Healy coming in at 17, not expected to start at centre forward. But the team that we have is Sarah Healy in goal, full back line of 2 Rachel Hannafy, 3 the captain Sarah Dervin, and 4 is Heather Cooney. The half back line were number 5 Siobhan Gardner, centre back number 6 is Roisin Black, and 7 is Derva Higgins. In midfield were number 8 Aoife Donoghue, partner by number 9 Niamh Kilkenny. The half forward line on paper: 10 Carrie Dolan, 17 Shauna Healy, and 12 Niamh Hannafy. And inside line 13 Siobhan McGrath, 14 Ailsa Riley, and 15 Sabina Rabbit. Now Elaine, we understand Aoife Donoghue is going to go into the half forward line. Shauna Healy could play midfield. She could possibly drop back to her normal cornerback position, and Rachel Hannafy could come out.
Yeah, look, that's what you'd be expecting to happen. Maybe, as you said, we don't expect Shauna Healy to start in that half forward line. Aoife Donoghue is to go to wing forward. But look, it could be a case of horses for courses, and Cathal and his management team might have picked certain Kilkenny players that they want to go toe to toe with, so there may be a couple of man marking jobs around the place there as well. So we'll just have to watch from throw in. But look, I don't think you're weakening any team by bringing Shauna Healy onto it. She stepped into Sarah Dervin's shoes last week, and you know, as I said, no drop in standard, and that's what Galway have been building over the last couple of years, is a really, really strong panel, and now's a chance to test that panel.
And a few of them will get another opportunity, as well as jerseys up for grabs. With 1 minute to a run of being, so we'll quickly run through the Kilkenny team. One change from their starting team, as well as number 22 Mary O'Connell comes into the team, replacing the captain Eva Prendergast. Their team in full: Eva Norris in goal, a full back line of 2 Michelle Teahan, 3 Grace Walsh, and 4 is Tiffany Fitzgerald. The half back line were number 5 Miriam Bambrick, centre back number 6 is Claire Phelan, and 7 is Laura Murphy. In midfield were number 8 Steffi Fitzgerald, partner by number 22 Mary O'Connell. The half forward line: 10 Miriam Walsh, 11 Katie Power, 12 Michaela Keneally, and the inside line, top of the right number 13 Denise Gall, full forward number 14 Julianne Malone, and top of the left were number 15 Katie Nolan. Again, positional switches probably expected.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, I don't think the numbers on the jerseys will mean anything when the teams line out. You can expect to see a couple of changes, and look, Kilkenny will probably rotate that forward all day.
We now have a run of field before throwing. They are the last 2 winners of the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Kilkenny beat Galway in the 2020 decider, and then Galway were victorious in 2021. They last met a year ago in the final round of group games in the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship down in John Locke's club in Callan. Galway by 1 point that day. A dramatic, eventful game it was. No doubt more expected here. The away team, Elaine, has often enjoyed the victories in these games. Kilkenny have come to Athenry twice before in recent history and beaten Galway. Interestingly, Galway won the All-Ireland both years that happened as well. Well, Galway have enjoyed success down in Kilkenny.
Yeah, look, it's a funny one. As I said, there's never anything between these 2 teams when they meet. A point last year in Callan, 3 points in the All-Ireland final in 2020, 3 points in the league final in 2020. So a score between them on every occasion, and look, expected to go right down to the wire again today.
Looking around positional switches, Elaine will tell us more in a moment. Katie Power seems to have gone in midfield for Kilkenny to join Steffi Fitzgerald, coming up from the intermediate ranks last year. Looking around, looks like Shauna Healy's gone to. Shauna Healy's actually starting in midfield. Rachel Hannafy wears a white helmet as well. The ball has been thrown in. The game is on. Elaine will go through more of those in a moment. And Galway look like they're attacking the goal to the right in the first half. so, despite the adamant pointing of Sarah Dervin to the left when the coin toss took place. Andy Larkin from Cork, the match official, just blown the whistle, starting again, and Denise Gall right in front of us there. The ball goes out over the line. It's going to be a Kilkenny sideline cut outside the 45.
Yeah, and Shauna Healy's actually gone into that full back line straight away, and she's picked up Mary O'Connell, who's gone into the Kilkenny full forward line. So Denise Gall coming to the half forward line along with Julianne Malone and Michaela Keneally, and as we expected, Kilkenny maybe trying to attack that Galway half back line. It's maybe the least settled of the lines in this Galway team.
Yeah, I realised my mistake. Of course, Rachel Hannafy is wearing the number 2 jersey that you normally associate with Shauna Healy. Rachel Hannafy starting in midfield with Niamh Kilkenny. Aoife Donoghue gone into the 40. Kilkenny with the ball, moving it out the field towards the inside line, and that's the first opportunity of the day for Mary O'Connell to get on position. She didn't start the game against Offaly last week. Indeed, had picked up a red card in the previous game against Antrim. That had been rescinded, and she was held back the last day, but back in the field of play. A free one there by Miriam Walsh, the far side of the field on the 45-metre line. An opportunity, you'd imagine, for Denise Gall to get her first shot at the game.
Yeah, and it was a good attacking move from Kilkenny. A great ball taken in the hand by Mary O'Connell here in front of Shauna Healy. Played a lovely ball across the field then into space, and Mary Walsh was first out onto it. Did really well to control it and took a heavy tackle then for the free. And as you said, a chance now for Denise.
Denise Gall has broken Galway hearts on many occasions in her career, and if she hits far today, Kilkenny will have a good opportunity. This is the first scoring chance of the match for the visitors. Denise Gall with the free towards the town goal in Kenny Park. Attenry, the umpire goes with the white flag. The ball has gone over the bar, less than 2 minutes gone. It's Kilkenny 1 point, Galway no score.
Yeah, look, and I think that's what we're going to be treated to today, is an exhibition of free taking from both sides. You know, Carrie Dolan on the Galway side and Denise Gall on the Kilkenny side. So, you know, any ill discipline anywhere from around the middle of the field and further back, maybe with that wind behind them, is certainly going to be punished.
And Sarah Healy getting good distance with her puck out as well. Found Ailish O'Reilly down the inside line and laid the ball off. And Galway lose out possession there as Kilkenny try and clear the ball, but not cleared very, very well. Ailish O'Reilly takes possession again as Sabina Rabbit to her right. Ailish might go herself, sends it inside towards Siobhan McGrath, who scored a goal in that match last year when they met in the group stages in Callan. The ball stays in play. The umpire having a very, very good look at this, and it's a scramble for possession. Andy Larkin might decide to throw this ball in on the 20-metre line. He has blown the whistle. No signal of a wide or a 45, so we're going to restart play on the 20-metre line as both teams just eager to get on with the ball, and it's an important match for both teams, as we've mentioned already. Unbeaten this year, Kilkenny went out of the league because only one team qualified from each group to the final. They lost out to Cork on scoring difference after a draw in Páirc Keeve. Galway beating Tipperary by 1 point to earn their place in the final in that tournament, and here now 4 wins out of 4 as Laura Murphy drives the ball up the field for Kilkenny towards the inside line, and Heather Cooney gets her first touch of the game for Galway, lays the ball off to the number 17 jersey of Shauna Healy. Shauna Healy back to Gerva Higgins, and Galway moving play, linking up very, very well as Siobhan Gardner sends the ball down the field, but cut out by Denise Gall, who's hung back around the middle of the park, and she takes possession of the Slayer down the right again, and Kilkenny trying to work their way inside on the 45-metre line. Galway defending very well. Roisin Black with a touch in the ball there, and you can see maroon jerseys getting in the way there, trying to get the little touches. Roisin Black trying to bring it up. Kilkenny fighting hard for the ball. Katie Power with possession, comes back towards the 65-metre line, and Kilkenny have lost possession, and this is dangerous for them because who's on the ball? It's Aoife Donoghue. Aoife Donoghue goes for a shot at the post. The umpires have a look. The ball goes out to the right and wide. That attack coming very quickly.
Yeah, you know, it turned over very, very quickly, as you said. Kilkenny in possession of the ball, looked to play it back. Not sure if it took a little flick or not, but either way fell into the path of Aoife Donoghue, and look, she's not someone you want bearing down on goal in free space, and unusually for her on that occasion the shot just drifted off to the right and wide.
Aoife Norris, the goalkeeper for Kilkenny, restarts the action. Great take from Denise Gall. She's going to hit it straight towards the post. Route 1 Camogie at its best. The ball goes over the bar. Denise Gall signals to her goalkeeper. Well done with the pass. 2 points to nil to Kilkenny.
Yeah, and that's exactly how you do a puck out to hand, caught in the middle of the field and over the bar again. 2 pucks and a punishment for Galway for not capitalising on Aoife Donoghue's chance at the far side.
It was a treat to be here in Attenry just to see that score. Early stages in the match, but Kilkenny 2 points to nil in front, and Galway looking to settle down as Carrie Dolan tries to get a touch on the ball. Niamh Hannafy is there as well. Shoulders are going in both sides, and the signal from the referee earlier on is he's going to let them get on with it. Siobhan Gardner with the ball, crossfield pass in the direction of Ailish O'Reilly. Ailish O'Reilly being marked by Grace Walsh in the red helmet. She won't be too far away from her. Grace Walsh, of course, had moved to midfield for the 2020 All-Ireland final when Kilkenny beat Galway back into the defence this year. Galway have possession again through Sabina Rabbit. Sabina Rabbit, a pass inside for Niamh Kilkenny. Opportunity here for Galway, a chance for a shot, and an excellent brilliant hook there from the Kilkenny defender to stop Niamh Kilkenny. Normally he'd marked down a score there for Galway. Not to be great defending.
Yeah, and it was great defending by Katie Parr from Kilkenny back in her own full back line to get that hook. And as you said, you'd put your house on Niamh Kilkenny from right in there where she got that ball, and super ball in over the top from Sabina Rabbit initially. So, Kilkenny lucky to get away with that opportunity.
Big moment in the game. Kilkenny punished Galway. Mary O'Connell with a shot at the post. That's going to drop into the hands of the goalkeeper from St. Thomas's, Sarah Healy, and she sends the ball out to Derva Higgins from Athenry, playing here in her hometown. Athenry doing great work there to build up their own facilities in the town as well, and Kenny Park a great option to have. Siobhan McGrath losing out on that occasion, but Ailish Riley takes possession. Michelle Tehan, the defender that's there. Galway trying to put pressure on the full back line, and Sabina Rabbit holds the ball there, but she's been covered by two defenders. Gives it back to Siobhan McGrath. Siobhan McGrath to Ailish Riley in plenty of space. Should be the opening score of the game for Galway. A well-worked score by Galway. Ailish Riley with the point. 6 minutes gone. 1 point to 2.
Yeah, and worrying for Kilkenny again, I think, just how much space that Ailish O'Reilly actually found herself in there. I think it's Grace Welch is picking her up, but she had dropped back into the full back line. So, that's the second time in a couple of minutes that they have carved open that Kilkenny defence, and on that occasion Ailish O'Reilly was able to punish.
Derva Higgins was staying much tired to Denise Gall on that occasion, but the ball was won by Julianne Malone. She gave it to Denise Gall, blocked down by Galway by Michaela Keneally. Lays the ball off, and Kilkenny on the move again. Galway put in the hooks, some great hooks and blocks in the early stages from both teams in this match in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, and play stops in the 45.
Yeah, another great hook there from Galway as Julianne Malone went to just pull the trigger, maybe looking at too much at the goals and not looking at what was behind her or looking at what options. But again, a great win from the Kilkenny puck out, and they're doing really well on their own puck outs at the minute.
Not a clean throw in there, as again players of both teams fighting for the ball, and like we had Ireland and New Zealand this morning playing the rugby, we've Galway against Kilkenny here in Athenry playing the Camogie, and every yard crucial. The decision goes Galway's way outside their own 45 metre line, and Carrie Dolan was just running over there thinking about taking the shot, but she's going to leave it off there now, and Galway will restart the action. There is a breeze here. It's not a very strong breeze, even though some of the flags are blowing strongly, but it favours Galway in the first half. Kilkenny win the ball back in the middle of the park. Julianne Malone hanging out there and enjoying the play at the moment as she goes past the 65 metre line down in the direction of Miriam Walsh with the green and white helmet, trying to get away from defenders as Kilkenny players queuing up for the ball, but a dangerous one in for Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan with the boots and the red helmet trying to get away from Shauna Healy, and Katie Nolan being marked by Heather Cooney. The referee is their hand out for the advantage. Katie Nolan does well. Kilkenny have a free. You'd assume they'll go 2 up.
Yeah, and again a lovely ball across field from Julianne Malone, found Katie Nolan in space, and she's just so neat with that hurl, held so sharp, flicked it up into her hand really, really quickly and ducked in underneath the tackle. And Kilkenny operating with 2 people inside in that full forward line with Mary Walsh and Katie Nolan in there, and both of them involved in that build-up play. So, Galway operating similar enough at the far end at times, but really paying dividends for Kilkenny at the moment.
Denise Gall there. Galway only getting a few defenders back. I'm not expecting Denise to do anything major. She doesn't. She puts the ball over the bar. 8 minutes into the game. That's another score for Denise Gall. 3 in this game for herself. 3 points to 1.
Yeah, and as you said, such a dependable both from frees and from play, and out around the middle of the field there, caught that great puck out from Aoife Norris shortly beforehand for her second point, and just really involved in the play, and I suppose that's exactly what Brian Dowling and Kilkenny will want from her.
Siobhan McGrath did well to win that ball and pick out Niamh Kilkenny, the centre, and this is Rachel Hannafy in playing in midfield. Rachel Hannafy with a shot, and Rachel Hannafy puts the ball over the bar. I think that's her first score of the championship this year. It's back to a 1 point ball game, 3 points to 2.
Yeah, and as we said, numbers obviously mean nothing in this game anymore, and Rachel Hannafy with 2 on her back, but showing the instincts of a forward there when she got into that position. But again, from a Kilkenny point of view, I suppose Galway players just finding themselves in a little bit too much space and having the opportunity to have those shots.
The game living up to its billings so far in the early stages. We've only played 9 minutes. We've had 5 scores. Kilkenny have a free outside the 65 metre line, and Denise Gall will get an opportunity to get her 4th point of the game. She patted Mary O'Connell on the head there for winning that free, and Denise Gall well capable of putting these over. It's in the central channel, and she will fancy this. So Denise Gall with the free. It's going to travel. It's going to be close. It looks good. It might drop short for Sarah Healy. Katie Nolan was lurking around there, and she managed to take the ball. Sarah probably should have knocked it out wide, but Shauna Healy wins the ball back for Galway, finds a teammate, and now Heather Cooney in possession. The pass from Roisin Black, and this is good movement from the Galway defenders. Sarah Dervin to Siobhan Gardner, and Siobhan Gardner with a long ball down the direction of Ailish O'Reilly. Didn't get there so far. An intriguing battle it is between Ailish O'Reilly and Grace Walsh.
Absolutely, and it's one we're going to keep keep an eye on throughout the game, and a lot of that will go down to the quality of the ball, I suppose, that goes into that full forward line. Sometimes it can be very, very hard to defend if the quality of the ball is good coming in, but credit the Kilkenny forwards, they're working really hard, and while Sarah Dervin got to work that one out nicely to Siobhan Gardner, the end delivery was still under a little bit of pressure and over the line.
We can tell you Wexford has scored an early goal against Dublin after 5 minutes. It's Wexford 1 goal, Dublin no score. We'll talk about permutations in a while, but this is an opportunity for Miriam Walsh against John. A goal! A goal for Kilkenny, and the pressure counts there. Managed to exploit the space. Galway caught out of position, and Kilkenny put the ball in the back of the net after 10 minutes.
Yeah, and a really, really composed finish from Miriam Walsh. I think she knew the hook was possibly coming in there from Shauna Healy behind her, but Miriam did, the temptation is always to try and burst the net with it, but nearly passed that one into the net instead, and a super start. And I suppose, credit for Kilkenny and the work that they've been doing in that forward line.
Yeah, they caught the Galway defence just off guard at the time there. The space opened up and Miriam Walsh puts the ball in the back of the net, and it's Kilkenny 1-3. It's Galway 2 points as a free for Kilkenny out towards the 65-metre line as they want to build in this now. This is Julianne Malone taking on Heather Cooney, holding on to the space. Great for Kilkenny to have the experience of Julianne Malone back. She was in Australia for a couple of years, represented Sydney GEA down there. The ball goes out over the line and Heather Cooney wins the sideline cut. And as much as I say it's great to have Julianne Malone back playing Camogie, it's great to have Heather Cooney back. 75 consecutive competitive games before the opening game of last year's championship when she did her cruciate as well. She was out for the year too, but back in the Galway team.
Yeah, it's super to see players, coming back from that kind of an injury, and I suppose given the couple of absentees we have from the panels here today due to the cruciate injury, it gives them a bit of hope, I suppose, to see the likes of Heather back and competing at the top level, having completed her recovery. So, I'm sure she'll be a huge addition to the Galway girls who are currently undergoing that recovery.
Yeah, we're just having a hold up and play there at the moment. Looks like Shauna Healy is down receiving some attention there, so just a chance for us to catch our breath up to the early stages. We'll have a look around what's happening in the country at the moment. As we mentioned, a goal for Wexford, we've been given that as things stand. Shauna Healy, a 2-time county champion winner with Ardrahan, and was the Connacht Club Player of the Year in 2018, wearing the number 17 jersey today. She's thankfully back on her feet in this Galway team, and she will get on with the action. Heather Cooney is going to take the sideline cut, the far side of the field, and she hits it along the ground. Didn't get the connection on that she wanted. The ball goes out over the line. A couple of little mistakes being made by Galway at the moment, and Kenny looking to capitalise on them.
Yeah, just a little bit nervy maybe at times, and I think Shauna maybe doing the old contact lens trick there for a second, maybe just to try and halt Kilkenny momentum and just get a bit of structure in their backs. As we said, the Kilkenny forwards, while they have Katie Nolan and Mary Walsh inside in that full forward line, other than that, the other four forwards are moving all over the place and just maybe asking some questions of the Galway defence.
Yes, and pressure there because Miriam Walsh was in there from the sideline cut to drop down in towards the square for Galway, but Sarah Dervin, the captain for the tribeswomen, deals with the ball, and Galway will bring the ball out again. And of course Aoife Donoghue weaving away left and right. She was Niamh Kilkenny who had the ball. She sent it in the direction of Aoife Donoghue. Siobhan McGrath in possession there, trying to get away from Michelle Tehan. Another intriguing battle. Siobhan McGrath's getting inside there now. An opportunity here for Galway, but the Kilkenny defenders smother her out, and the clearance out there queuing up. Sabina Rabbit with a shot, a goal for Galway, and it's Sabina Rabbit that puts that in the back of the net. We'll have to look at that again, but Galway respond with their major.
Yeah, Michelle Tehan originally chasing back Siobhan McGrath, and she pulled 3 or 4 Kilkenny defenders with her, and the attempted shot eventually scooped off the line by Laura Norris, or Aoife Norris, but only out as far as you said, Sabina Rabbit. And again, Kilkenny with just a forward left free in there, and she's not going to miss from there, and a rocket to the roof of the net.
It's Galway 1-2, it's Kilkenny 1-3, 1 point between the teams, and Laura Murphy clears the ball for Kilkenny down towards the opposing 45-metre line where Roisin Black will be first to the ball, goes to ground there. Play continues on. Roisin Black from Ormore Mary gives it off to Derva Higgins. Derva Higgins down the left looking for Sabina Rabbit, her clubmate from Athenry. The ball goes out over the line, the far side of the field, and Kilkenny will get a chance to catch their breath.
Yeah, I think probably just caught on the counter-attack a little bit there on that last Galway attack. Came from a super run from Niamh Kilkenny back in her own half back line, maybe where they've been struggling just to gain a little bit of composure at the minute, but super ball from her forward, and you had Aoife Donoghue coming onto it as well, and Siobhan McGrath, and look, we all know how dangerous she is in there. Michelle Tehan is as tasked with the man marking job of her today, and she's followed her closely, but Siobhan did really, really well on that occasion to win it, slip inside, and then while her shot was blocked, Galway were quickest with the follow-up.
You can tell you Wexford has scored a second goal against Dublin. It's Wexford 2-1, Dublin no score after 10 minutes, and Tipperary are 4 points up in Cork. Tipperary 1-4, Cork a goal down lead awfully by 1 point to nil. A push on Siobhan McGrath by Michelle Tehan. It's going to be a free in for Galway. First opportunity of the day for Carrie Dolan to have a shot at the post, and you would imagine this will be the equaliser on the quarter hour mark. Waterford lead clear by 2 points to 1.
Yeah, you look, Galway, I think, just starting to maybe get a little bit of a foothold in the game. You know, they probably took that 10 or 15 minutes to settle, but they certainly seem to have settled now, and there's a chance now for Carrie Dolan to equalise the game.
So it's Carrie Dolan with the free for Galway, puts the ball over the bar. Just over 15 minutes gone in the game. It's all square, 1-3 apiece. The first time they'll be level in the match, Elaine. Yeah,
and look, we expected that. You know, as I said, Kilkenny started really, really well, got the couple of early scores, but Galway really seemed to have found their feet in the last couple of minutes there now, and you know, a huge 15 minutes now to half time.
I'd be just doing my computing there in Group 1 at the moment. We haven't heard anything from Antrim against Limerick yet, but as things stand, it's Cork number 1, Waterford number 2, Tipperary number 3, which would signal that the loser of this match will play Tipperary in an All-Ireland quarter-final. How about that? A lot of camogie to be played. This is Niamh Hanafy. Niamh Hanafy on the move for Galway. They haven't led yet. The defender staying tight. She didn't get the connection on that she wanted. Second wide of the game for Galway. Remains 1-3 apiece. Kilkenny not wasting any time going for the short puck out, and coming out the field there is the numbers. It was Miriam Babrick actually wearing number 5. The number's very hard to see for Kilkenny, but she does. Well, I thought she found the intended target, but she found Shauna Healy. Shauna Healy gives the ball off to Roisin Black, trying to get past Katie Nolan, sends the ball into space, but Denise Gall, wearing number 13 on her back, wins the ball, gives the pass off. This looks like Laura Murphy is going to have a shot at the post here for Kilkenny. That ball dribbles out over the line. Two poor wides for both teams.
Yeah, balanced one another out there on that occasion, and perhaps Laura Murphy might have been better to just play that one in. It was against the breeze, as I said, from the middle of the field, and probably just maybe better to play it into that full forward line where they have been getting good return from.
So the battle now between the 65 and the 45 metre line, and again Kilkenny bursting out from the half back line. Foul committed, says the referee. Laura Murphy, the player that wins the foul on her own 65 metre line. Will Denise Gall fancy a go at this? I don't even know why I asked, because Denise Gall will have a go at this. Right centre channel 2, and a chance for her to try and put Kilkenny back in front in this game. So Denise Gall with a long ball down there, but it looks like Sarah Dervin will win this. However, Miriam Walsh is in there applying the pressure, needed support from Shauna Healy, and Shauna Healy trying to bring the ball out, but good overturn there. Mary O'Connell trying to pull the trigger. Galway defenders getting the way. Derva Higgins wins the ball, spots Rachel Hanafy, who's dropped back in like a holding midfielder role, and she'll bring the ball out towards the 45 metre line. The pass down in the direction of the sister Niamh Hanafy, also from More Mary. Understandably, Carrie Dolan there as well, battling for the ball. Niamh Hanafy with possession gives the ball off to another from More Mary. Ailish O'Reilly, 4 from that club in the starting team for Galway. Niamh Kilkenny with the ball, back to Ailish. Ailish O'Reilly with 5 All-Stars, took the pass from the player with 7, in for Siobhan McGrath. Siobhan McGrath just doesn't get the first touch on that she wanted, looks for a second, looks for a teammate. The teammate is Carrie Dolan. She'll have a shot at the post. You can hear them shout over in the background, and Carrie Dolan obliges. 18 minutes into the game, Galway lead for the first time. The home support really behind Carrie Dolan.
Yeah, certainly they carried that one over the bar if it didn't have enough momentum of its own, but again, really good recycling of the ball from Galway. You know, Siobhan McGrath, two or three Kilkenny defenders on her there, recycled it back out to Carrie Dolan, and Kilkenny probably just a little bit guilty of ball watching in the defence.
Kilkenny making the bright start to the game, leading by 1-3 to 2 points, but the last 3 scores have all come for Galway. A goal from Sabina Rabbit, whose sister Alwyn scored a goal in the opening game in the intermediates when Galway beat Kerry. So lots of connections between the two games. Ailish O'Reilly back in the middle of the field with the ball for Galway. Goes on a move there, does Ailish O'Reilly. A nice little hook in there from Grace Walsh. Julianne Malone back to help out, and she sends the ball down the field again in the direction of Mary O'Connell, but she loses out to Heather Cooney. Heather Cooney to Derva Higgins. Derva Higgins with a long drive towards the attack. You can see the respective matchups there. They're staying as tight as they can to each other. That ball trickles out over the line and wide.
Yeah, and the Galway defence, I think, just starting to come to terms maybe with the Kilkenny forwards at the minute. They're starting to get the better of them in the last couple of minutes there, and they're setting up attacks, and on that occasion I suppose that just a little bit too much power on it.
Denise Gall with the ball, gives a pass, misses the intended target, and again players colliding with each other. Carrie Dolan loses possession to Michelle Tehan. Michelle Tehan trying to find Miriam Bambrick, but in the middle is Niamh Kilkenny, has been playing for Galway since 2007. Katie Power for Kilkenny has been with them since 2006. This is Niamh Kilkenny, and Niamh Kilkenny puts the ball over the bar. 20 minutes gone in the game, and Niamh Kilkenny makes it 1-5 to 1-3.
Yeah, and again the Kilkenny defence had coming out and probably just a little overpassed one or two too much there, short passing there, allowed the likes of Carrie Dolan and Niamh Kilkenny to breathe down on them and turn it over, and as you said, found herself in that little pocket of space, and enough space for Niamh Kilkenny to just put it over the bar.
Tipperary lead Cork by 1-6 to 1-2. We focus on the action here in Kenny Park as Kilkenny try and launch another attack in towards a dangerous inside line of Katie Nolan and Miriam Walsh, but it's won again by Shauna Healy. Shauna Healy passes the ball back in Galway as Elaine St. is starting to come to terms with the threat of Kilkenny in attack, and Heather Cooney will pass it in towards Derva Higgins in the middle of the field. Derva Higgins has won a senior football title in Clare. She goes for a kick, a puck in the post, and she puts the ball over the bar. Galway are on a roll. 20 minutes and 20 seconds. It's 1-6 to 1-3.
Yeah, and Derval Higgins looks to have followed Denise Gall out to around the middle of the field, so proving on that occasion that anything that Denise can do, she can do just as well at the other end, and that's a super score. And as I said, that Galway defence just starting to get on top and win balls there that they weren't winning for the first 15 or 20 minutes.
It's 1-6 to 1-3 to Galway. The last 5 scores coming for the home side. Michelle Tehan with possession, moving up the field, gives the pass back to Claire Phelan, and Claire Phelan sending it down the field towards the 45-metre line. The referee had spotted a foul, so I think it's a Kilkenny free out. Denise Gall is in position anyway. Elaine, I didn't see that.
Yeah, looks to be for a foul maybe on Michelle Tehan. I know as she was coming out there she managed to get the pass away, but I think she might have been fouled, and I'm not sure I saw the advantage, the hand going up, but certainly Andy Larkin calling it back for the free, and as you said, a chance for Denise. Probably won't go the distance on this, but certainly should hit that dangerous full forward line.
We have to remember the wind is here now. It's picking up again a little bit, favouring Galway in the first half, so Kilkenny won't panic. Denise Gall sends the ball down in the direction of Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan not getting any change of Shauna Healy, and back to mop up is Siobhan Gardner, winning the race ahead of Michaela Keneally. Picks up Derva Higgins, who's enjoying a bit of freedom she has in the middle of the park. Long drive down in towards the attack, but it's won again by Claire Phelan, and she'll send it out in the direction of Steffi Fitzgerald in midfield. Steffi Fitzgerald on her left hand side, sends it in towards the attack, looking for Mary O'Connell against Heather Cooney. As I've mentioned a few times already, the respective matchups are always right beside each other. Looks like both teams are playing man for man, woman for woman, whatever way you want to describe it, but the matchups there are staying tight regardless where in the field the respective players are. The battle between the 65 and the 45-metre line, it's won by Galway, won by Niamh Hanavy. She gives it to Niamh Kilkenny. Niamh Kilkenny down the left has already scored, fancies a crack at the post. It looks like it's going to drop harmlessly to the left and wide. 4 wides in the game for Galway.
Yeah, and I think speaking of matchups, you know, Katie Nolan started inside in that full forward line on Sarah Dervin, while Miriam Walsh started on Shauna Healy, and that swap there recently I think it's probably worked out for Galway inside, and as you said, Shauna Healy probably getting the better of Katie Nolan.
Kilkenny need to be careful with their puckouts as well. Galway applied the pressure, have nearly overturned it. They've had to work hard to stop that. Aoife Donoghue just getting pushed off on that occasion. Looks like it was a Grace Walsh who won the ball. It was, and now Michelle Tehan will send it out the field to play, but into no man's land, and Roisin Black will be first to the race here as Sarah Dervin beside her gives the hand pass off to the captain. Sarah Dervin down towards the opposing 65-metre line. 2 Galway players there. There's 2 from Kilkenny as well. Steffi Fitzgerald is one of them, but Galway hold on to it. Rachel Hanafy outside the 65-metre line goes in a run, has opened up a bit of space all of a sudden inside the 45. This is great work from Rachel Hanafy. Had to be stopped. There's no arguments about the foul there, I don't think, and Galway will get a chance to go forward front.
Yeah, and again, just the Kilkenny defence to allow someone run from the middle of the field like that, and credit to Rachel Hanafy, she put on the burners and there was nobody catching her, so it was up to Fitzgerald to come out and take her from there. But you know, from the Kilkenny defence point of view, I suppose you don't want someone running down the heart of your defence like that, and as I said, the Galway defence just getting on top at the moment, and that's really setting them up from around the middle of the field.
It's 4 points apiece between Down and Offaly. It's 1-6 to 1-3 to Galway here. The referee having a chat with a Kilkenny player. I'm just trying to work out, is it Tiffany Fitzgerald that he's chatting to, and looks like it's the first yellow card of the match.
Yeah, certainly I think for that tackle, I think it was Tiffany Fitzgerald, and it is her that's been spoken to by Andy Larkin and picks up a yellow card for that particular tackle.
So yellow card for Tiffany Fitzgerald, and Carrie Dolan getting ready to take the free. Just been told by the linesman to come back a bit, and it'll be about 40 yards out from the goal, but right in front of the post, and 6 minutes to go to half time here and there's an opportunity for Galway to go 4 in front. They trailed this game by 4 points at one stage, and Carrie Dolan with the free. The umpire goes straight for the white flag, puts the ball over the bar, 1-7 to 1-3.
Yeah, look, they're making very little of Kilkenny's quick start. Kilkenny looked to be in cruise control starting off, and could do no wrong. Every ball they got down there they were getting returned from, but Galway have really tightened up at the back, and they've really started to get to grips with the Kilkenny forwards, and they're launching every attack from there then.
And the half-back line doing well as well. Siobhan Gardner to Roisin Black, trying to find Derva Higgins, not to be. This is Denise Gall. Didn't find a way to go inside, so lays the pass off of Laura Murphy. Laura Murphy looks like an attempted pass to Miriam Walsh. Sarah Dervin just blocking that down there, has the ball, gives the hand pass out to her left, and Galway deal with the danger again through Roisin Black. Long ball down the field. That's an excellent catch from Denise Gall. An exhibition and fielding she's delivered in this game so far. She won the free in the process with Aoife Donoghue not dropping back, and Denise Gall will be anxious to get a score, because after the great start that Kilkenny had and that Denise had with 3 points in the opening 8 minutes, she hasn't scored in 17 minutes. Kilkenny haven't scored in 15.
Yeah, look, she's so key to everything that Kilkenny do, and as you said, she's out around the middle of the field giving an exhibition of catching, but really they need to start getting something from it up front. She's winning those frees. They're not exactly in scoreable positions at the moment. She's too far back out the field, so look, she's up to try and create something up front, so she's depending on the inside forwards maybe to just get going again and find that little bit of mojo they had for the first 10 or 12 minutes.
Mary O'Connell was there, is going to leave the sideline cut off to Julianne Malone inside the 45 metre line, and Kilkenny just looking to create a score there, get themselves back up and running in this match as well. A long way to go. Julianne Malone getting ready to take the sideline cut. I wonder would she have a go? She might send a dangerous one inside, tries to play it down the line, but again the tight marking from Galway, like we've seen from Kilkenny on occasions as well. The very little space being allowed there, and Galway look like they've overturned the ball again. Well, certainly it's a scramble for possession right in front of us there on your slot. The under 12 mini games being called by the stadium announcer. It was great to see them on at half time. 8 different clubs in Galway, all under 12s, providing their own exhibition at Camogie. And just while it's getting a bit, not much happening there at the moment, Elaine, we were talking about it during the intermediate match. Great to add into the occasion here in Kenny Park today, these under 12s, and they'll be on again at half time. Yeah,
huge occasion for the under 12s from those 8 clubs, to get out and play on the same field as their heroes. They're going home tonight thinking they're serving Sarah Dervin or Aoife Donoghue or Niamh Kilkenny or whoever it is. So super for them to share the stage with the All-Stars and the heroes of Galway Camogie and Kilkenny Camogie here today.
So the sideline cut the far side of the field. It's going to be for Kilkenny again, and just a bit of biking out of the game in the last couple of moments. Kilkenny maybe wanting to slow it down themselves. Denise Cole doesn't seem to be any rush to get into position here as well. And Elaine, just taking on the Kilkenny side of things at the moment, would it be wise to try and slow things down here as well, or would they be better off trying to pick it up and get a few scores?
Look, I think they haven't got much joy in the last 10 minutes there from that Galway full back line, and Galway are really under control at the back there. So, from a Kilkenny point of view, maybe it's just about consolidating now, trying to get to half time if they can keep it to 4 points and just get in and regroup at half time, because, for a team that started so well, they really have kind of, come off the wagon a little bit there in the last 10 or 15 minutes, and the game is really being played on Galway's terms.
Yeah, that 1-2 between Denise Cole and Julianne Malone didn't work out, and Galway overturned possession. It's right down in front of us again, and Rachel Hannafy, she's enjoying a very versatile player. She's played in 3 different lines for Galway this year. Made her debut in intermediate in 2019 against Antrim. Carrie Dolan's long ball down in the direction of Siobhan McGrath, but losing out on that occasion. I think it's Michelle Tehan there that managed to stop Siobhan McGrath turning inside, but again Sabina Rabbit is there to win possession. Good hook from Kilkenny. Sabina Rabbit holds onto the ball, keeps away from Tiffany Fitzgerald, dropping ball inside, but Miriam Bambrick will take this and send the ball out the field of play. But Galway just started to win these 50-50 races. Siobhan Gardner getting ahead of Katie Nolan, a chance for her to go for a pop at that post. Siobhan Gardner with the shot puts the ball over the bar, her first score in the championship, and it's 1-8 to 1-3.
Yeah, look, and we spoke about that line and the Galway team maybe being the least settled at the moment, but certainly Siobhan Gardner and Derval Higgins getting forward into a more forward position today, and both of them with points on the scoreboard now, so proving that maybe while they're capable of defending, they're equally as capable of getting up the field for scores. And I think that's really what Kilkenny are doing at the moment, is they're inviting Galway onto them.
There's a lack of energy with Kilkenny at the moment. You take that 50-50 race between Siobhan Gardner and Katie Nolan on that occasion. Siobhan Gardner winning it, and Katie Nolan out around the middle of the field trying to help out, and Kilkenny just trying to make something happen, but it's all happening for Galway here. Niamh Kilkenny winning the ball, gives it to Rachel Hannafy. Rachel Hannafy down in the direction of, looks like Niamh Hannafy, who's pushed into full forward up against Claire Phelan there, and nobody's claimed control of the sliotar at the moment. Niamh Hannafy is the favourite to win the ball. She has it. She's Ailish O'Reilly outside her, but she might go herself. Gives a pass with an attempted pass in the direction of Siobhan McGrath, and Michelle Tehan. What an interception on that occasion. Vital, however, Niamh Hannafy will get another goal. Puts the ball over the bar. 1 minute to half time. It's 1-9 to 1-3.
Yeah, look, and again, Galway just opening up that Kilkenny defence, a player over every time, and lucky that Michelle Tehan got that hurl to that and got to flick it down. It was going into the path of Siobhan McGrath, and we've seen on so many occasions what she's capable of when she gets inside a defence like that. So, as I said, Kilkenny, you were talking about looking for them to consolidate before half time. They really just need to get their hand on the sliotar now and try and get a score or two before they fall further behind.
The linesman the near side of the field is Ray Kelly, and he just signalled to one of the Galway officials 1 minute of added time. So we have 20 seconds plus 1 minute. And that's the confirmation from Sarah Gorin, the stadium announcer here in Kenny Park Athenry. She's also the Galway Camogie PRO. Michaela Keneally, a big score needed for Kilkenny, and Michaela Keneally delivers her second score of the championship, her first today. It's 30 minutes gone, 1-9 to 1-4.
Yeah, Michaela Keneally now switched inside to the full forward line and is picking up Sarah Dervin in there, while Katie Nolan has come further out the field to try and pick up some balls. So, Kilkenny maybe just needing a couple of changes like that just to try and get a foothold in there and upset that Galway defence.
Kilkenny's first score in 20 minutes. We've another 45 seconds remaining in this first half. Galway in front by 5 points. Kilkenny having the ball, and no doubt there'll be some strong words said in the Kilkenny dressing room at half time, because they've really let this game slip away from them. They've been outscored by 1-7 to a point since the 10th minute, but now can they make some inroads before half time? Michaela Keneally trying to do something again. Spotted Miriam Walsh on the run, but loses out. The Galway halfbacks again getting on top. Played down in the direction of Aoife Donoghue up against Laura Murphy, and Laura Murphy winning the ball on that occasion, tries to get inside the two Galway midfielders, gives it to Miriam Bambrick. The pass out in the direction of Katie Power, and Katie Power just there right in front of us on the 65-yard line. This is good play from Kilkenny. This is Miriam Walsh getting away from Niamh Kilkenny. She loses the hurl. The referee says a foul was committed, and he's just allowing the advantage to continue. A scoring chance for Julianne Malone. The advantage will be given. Is he going to have a word with Niamh Kilkenny? Either way, it's a score, and it's 1-9 to 1-5.
Yeah, and that's better from Kilkenny now in the last couple of minutes, and that little burst just before half time will be exactly what they've needed, instead of now going in maybe 6 or 7 points down, they have the gap back to 4, and it's bridgeable from there, and Michaela Keneally and Julianne Malone both getting on the scoreboard there after hard work from Miriam Walsh. So
the referee still having a chat with Niamh Kilkenny. Miriam Walsh receiving some attention, and it is a yellow card for Niamh Kilkenny, so she goes into the book. It's 1 yellow card for each team. Thankfully, Miriam Walsh, the player of the month, the PwC player of the month for April of 2022, is back on her feet and good to continue. Sarah Healy with the short puck out to the referee, because the half-time whistle has been blown. It's a 4-point ball game. Galway in front. Elaine Aylward, your overall thoughts in the first half?
Yeah, look, I suppose it's probably a fair margin of advantage for Galway at half time, considering how they played the second half of that first half. And I think Kilkenny will be happy to have got those 2 points on the scoreboard just before half time. Other than that, they were facing a huge uphill challenge in the second half. From a Kilkenny point of view, obviously happy with how they started that game. In the first 10 or 12 minutes they were totally in control, but as I said, Galway gradually grew into it, and once their defence got on top, they obviously got enough ball up then into the forwards to cause trouble. Kilkenny defence will obviously be disappointed with some of the scores that they conceded. As I said in commentary, probably caught ball watching a little bit on occasion, so certainly something that Brian Dowling and his team will look to address at half time. And I suppose from Cathal Murray's point of view, he'd be happy enough, maybe not with conceding those last 2 scores. They probably feel they could have gone in a little bit further ahead, but still a 4-point victory from where they are, a 4-point lead at half time from where they were in the 10th or 12th minute. I think they'll be happy enough with that.
The 4 points between the teams. Just before we take the break, we'd like to congratulate the winners of the annual College Camogie Under-16 7-a-side Blitz that was held across 2 venues today in Kilkenny and Gort. The Division 1 winners St Coleman's, Division 2 winners Asper Caltra, and the Division 3 winners Ballinderry. 16 teams participated on the day, and a great day was had by all. Well done with them. Will it be a Galway victory at the end of this? Kilkenny are certainly back in the match. They have the wind for the second half. We're going to take a break for about 10 minutes, and when we come back, we'll have live coverage in the second half of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship game. The half-time score, it's Galway in front by 4 points. Galway 1-9, Kilkenny 1-5. Welcome back here to Kenny Park in Athenry. We get ready for the second half of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. A round of applause for the 8 under-12 clubs here from Galway who entertained everybody at half-time. Kilkenny are back out in the field to play for the second half. Haven't noticed any changes so far, but we'll keep it up. But at the end of this broadcast, just to let you know, we will have the Camogie Association, including Luke Gerard, Hilda Breslin, chatting to us to confirm all the fixtures for the knockout stages. And we're going to leave it to themselves, Elaine, to do that because it's hard to keep up with it. Just going through the scores we have at half-time. Tipperary 1-8, Cork 1-7, Waterford 1-7, Clare 5 points, Wexford 2-3, Dublin 6 points. They're in Group 1. The way I have it is that'll be Cork 1, Waterford 2, Tipperary 3. And in this group, of course, Galway 1-9 to 1-5 up in Kilkenny at half-time. Antrim lead Limerick by 1-7 to 1-5. We will have Galway 1, Kilkenny 2, Antrim 3 as things stand. That is expected to change an awful lot over the next 30 minutes.
Absolutely. I think it's important we emphasise as things stand, because a massive 30 minutes of hurling still to come here in Athenry, and I'm sure across all the venues, across all those games, you know, who knows what way the breeze is blowing or who's had what advantage in that first half. So as I said, a massive couple of second halves to come across the whole game, but as it stands, what a result that would be for Tip down in Cork if they were to overturn Cork and get themselves back into the championship after the, you know, the turbulent enough championship I suppose they've had and the start they've had to it. So if they could get back into a knockout position, that'd be an absolutely huge result for them. And similar, Wexford with the 2 goals at home against Dublin, you know, probably a lot of people would have tipped maybe Dublin with the momentum that was behind them coming into that game. And again, Wexford have had a turbulent enough championship as well. So as you said, look, that's as it stands, but a huge 30 minutes to come across all those venues.
Yeah, we'll do our best to keep it tapping at all, but we will confirm everything afterwards. Just mention Offaly 8 points to 7 up and down at half time. So as things stand as well, a relegation final will be between Clare and Down, but that can fluctuate an awful lot. As Elaine mentioned, Dublin are back in the game after conceding 2 early goals to Wexford. Cork have closed the gap to 1 point on Tipperary as well. And none of those games, Elaine, as we wait for Galway to come back on the field to play for the second half, none of those games are won. There's no massive margin in any match so far. Indeed, I think the 5 points that Waterford have on Clare is the biggest of the lot so far.
Yeah, look, as you said, as we expected, tight games across everything. And look, when you have knockout camogie and you have relegation to contend with, there's always going to be something at play. So there's not going to be any inch given in any of those games. And they're obviously 6 tight, closely fought affairs. And as you said, expect the leads to swing for the next 30 minutes.
There's a great crowd here, as you can hear the applause. Over 1,300 tickets had been sold as we entered Kenny Park earlier on before the intermediate match. No doubt there's been a few more on top of that since as well. Mostly home supporters, understandably, as well, with the 2 Galway teams playing as well. But Elaine, we've been at a few games this year where, look, there hasn't been as many people as you'd like to see. It's great to be sitting here among the crowd in Kenny Park in our commentary box.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and I think we said it last week in Dunloy as well. If you can at all, a double header is certainly the way to go. And, you know, it brings out the 2 sets of supporters, the intermediate team, the senior team, and then if you have the mini games at half-time as well, it brings another crowd with them. So if you can at all, it's certainly the way to go.
No wasting time. The start of the second half, Andy Larkin from Cork throws the ball in, and it's Galway against Kilkenny, who will be in the semi-finals. This is Miriam Walsh, goes for a shot at the post. Exactly the start that Kilkenny wanted. 20 seconds into the second half, it's 1-6 to 1-9. Yeah,
certainly a blistering start there. Super ball in front of Miriam, did really well, and perhaps if she'd had a second or 2 more to compose herself, 2 Galway defenders had collided. Katie Nolan had slipped inside, so possibly a chance for something bigger in there. But, you know, Kilkenny starting this second half now as they started the first half.
Kilkenny had 4 scores in the first half. Denise Gaw with 3 points. Miriam Walsh had the goal. Michaela Keneally and Julia Malone also on target. And as you've just seen there, Miriam Walsh has added a point to that goal, making her Kilkenny's top scorer in the match so far with 1-1. A foul committed here, and it looks like, is it going to be a free out for Kilkenny? It is, and the referee having a word with Niamh Hannafy.
Yeah, and I'd be surprised if she doesn't pick up a yellow card here. You know, she was behind Tiffany Fitzgerald going for that ball, or maybe Steffi Fitzgerald, going for that ball, and as Steffi slowed, Niamh certainly pulled in from behind, and needless enough for you to give away. You know, Siobhan McGrath was coming out as well. They were going to have her under pressure when she came out, so a free for Kilkenny and a chance for them now to get down the field again.
Galway have 8 different scores in the first half. I'll try and run through them all for you in just a moment as we watch Kilkenny try and see can they get another score. And this is Katie Power gives the pass back to Denise Gall. Denise Gall will drop one towards the house. That won't trouble Sarah Healy too much, you would imagine. But Galway's 8 different scores in the first half. The goal, of course, from Sabina Rabbit. 3 points for Carrie Dolan, one of those from play. Also on target, Ailish O'Reilly, Rachel Hannafy, Niamh Kilkenny, Derva Higgins, Siobhan Gardner and Niamh Hannafy, all scoring for Galway in the first half. They lead this game by 3 points with 2 minutes gone in the second half. Just to repeat, the winner of this game will go automatically into the semi-finals of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. That will be in Croke Park on Saturday the 23rd of July. Cork are already there as well. We've confirmation at half-time. That will be an open draw, but there'll be 2 quarter-final winners to join them. Second from one group, cross-plays third from the other. Those games take place in Simple Stadium on the 16th of July. Miriam Walsh with a pass off there and good defending from Roisin Black and Sarah Dervin to stop Julianne Malone in her tracks. The pass over Heather Cooney back to Roisin Black on the 45. 2 players collide. Referee happy to let them continue on, and Derva Higgins sends a long ball down Attenry to Attenry, down to Sabina Rabbit, but it won't come for her, and Michelle Tehan will send the ball up the field again for Julianne Malone. Has time to look around, pick an option, decides to send it down in the direction of Katie Nolan. Katie wasn't as quick off the blocks as Shauna Healy, but she might still win the battle. She wins the battle as Mary O'Connell inside, but support from the Galway defenders comes in, but they didn't take the ball, and Katie goes again. Good block down there from Galway, but Kilkenny not finished. It was Siobhan Garner getting in the way, and Galway will have earned this if they manage to clear it, but Kilkenny are fighting for the ball as a player without a hurl there. I think the referee has blown the whistle. I'd imagine this is going to be thrown in.
Yeah, I think it probably is going to be in credit to the Galway defence. You know, they got back time and time again. It looked like Katie Nolan was gone once or twice maybe from Shauna Healy there, but Shauna got back up, got the support back in, and they managed to snuff out the opportunity. But Kilkenny, I suppose, just letting a few chances go a begging there now, and you know, they're ones that they really need to get if they're to close the gap on Galway.
Mary O'Connell trying to get ahead of Heather Cooney, but Heather Cooney keeping as tight as she can to the Kilkenny number 22. Mary O'Connell again with the ball, tries to get the ball out, but fouled it in the process with the throw, so it's going to be a free out for Galway in disciplined defending.
Yeah, super defending from them, you know, and forcing that turnover. As I said, it looked time and time again like Kilkenny were going to get a chance to narrow the gap, and you know, they got a couple of last ditch hooks in there, got bodies back on the line, and eventually turned it over. Super pressure on Michaela Keneally, forced her to throw it, and a chance now for Galway again to build.
Sarah Healy goes with a short one to Derva Higgins. Derva Higgins spots Rachel Hannafy in space, left the ball hanging there a little bit, in Katie Power with her experience reads that, but Niamh Kilkenny's experience also reads it well too. Gets inside Denise Gall, and Niamh Kilkenny, the Princess of Pearsons, is on the move. That gives the pass out towards the right. This is good play from Carrie Dolan outside the 20-metre line, and Kilkenny blocking tracks, but again Niamh Kilkenny out to win the ball again. She's on the move again as Niamh Kilkenny goes for a shot at the post, and blocked out there by the goalkeeper Aoife Norris as well. And Kilkenny, a goal chance for Galway coming all of a sudden, but Kilkenny deal with it and plays out towards the 45-metre line, and Julianne Malone just doesn't control the ball. That'll be a sideline cut for Galway, but they nearly made something out of nothing.
Yeah, Aoife Norris had to be very, very careful with that shot from Niamh Kilkenny. It was hanging tantalisingly across the goal there and could easily have dipped, you know, and did well to get out. Savage pressure from Sabina Rabbit, then forced the clearance to be a little bit pressured.
Niamh Hannafy with a chance, gives it to Sabina Rabbit. She might go low, she goes high, she puts the ball over the bar. Galway's first score in the second half. Took them 5 minutes to get it. Sabina Rabbit with the score. It's 110 to 1-6.
Yeah, and for all the work that Galway did on that occasion, managed to put it on the scoreboard, which is what Kilkenny couldn't do at the far end a few minutes ago. You know, they had all the pressure on, had the chances and couldn't get the score, but Sabina Rabbit with a super point to back up her goal from the first half.
It remains a 4-point ball game as it was at half time. Galway in front. Roisin Black with the ball. Goes to ground. Has the awareness to pick out Niamh Kilkenny, who's getting more involved as the game continues on. But Kilkenny are there, not standing by. That's Kilkenny, the county, the team in black and amber. They've turned the ball around and bring it towards the 45-metre line. And again, the hooks, the blocks, the challenges, even a few shoulders thrown in every now and again. Miriam Bambra, can she have more luck for the Cats? Loses out possession as the Galway player, I think it was Carrie Dolan, just stood in the way. And Niamh Kilkenny goes in the move again. Look at the pace of Niamh Kilkenny. High challenge comes in. Play continues on towards the 45-metre line. Kilkenny do their best to win the ball back. I think it was Denise Gall that was there to win possession, and again now it stops on the 45-metre line. Players of both teams coming in trying to dig the ball out, and it's Ailish O'Reilly that digs it out for Galway, and she goes on the move, and again a Kilkenny stick comes in the way. Come on, doing enough to stop the ball, and they'll drive it out the field of play. Elaine, as much as we enjoy the high scores and some of the individual displays of both teams, we're getting some great hooks, blocks, and the art of hurling camogie here.
Absolutely, there's just some savage, tenacious defending all over the field, you know, and lots of bodies around the middle of the field there. And for two teams who know one another so well, I suppose they're so familiar with one another, and you know that leads to even greater battles. You know, you have superb like man-on-man tasks going on all over the field. If you look at, you know, Grace Walsh and Ailish O'Reilly at one end, and Shauna Healy on Katie Nolan at the other end, Marion Walsh and Sarah Dervin, you know what battles they've had over the years. So super battles individual all over over the field, but also collectively. And it's a massive, massive game. And as you said, some massive hits, massive shoulders, and just a real physical game.
It's a contest that never disappoints. Denise Gaw with this free for Kilkenny, going towards the opposed. The umpire goes for the white flag. 7 minutes gone in the second half. It's back to a 3-point ball game, 107 to 110.
Yeah, and you know, Sarah Healy, I suppose, as reliable as anyone with Denise Gaw for the frees. As soon as it was struck, Sarah Healy was going for the ball, for the puck out. She knew it was going over the bar. And again, Kilkenny just depending on Denise Gaw just to pull them back into this game.
Long drive down by Sarah Healy. Julianne Malone was underneath it, but it's Rachel Hannafy with the ball. A bit of space opened up here for Galway. Kilkenny had to be closing. Tiffany Fitzgerald wasn't going anyway away from Sabina Rabbit, but Sabina Rabbit has the ball. She's on the move again. Gets blocked. The referee has spotted the foul. She couldn't get the pass off for Aoife Donoghue, but she wins the free, and Galway will get a chance to respond straight away.
Yeah, and it was a lovely ball in initially, you know, a really, really hard one to defend, and I think it was Claire Phelan did well just to get a hurl to it, but Sabina Rabbit's been really outstanding for Galway all year, and look, she's a strong physical player. When she takes on her player, she's head down, she's heading for goal, and she's so well able to bring players from around or into the play beside her, and it's exactly what she did on that occasion. Won her own free, but a chance now for Carrie Dolan.
Sabina Rabbit, as Michelle Tehan gets a yellow card. Sabina Rabbit won an All-Ireland Senior Colleges title earlier this year at Presentation at Rye. She was player of the match in the final, their first win in 40 years, and she's really come on in the Galway Senior setup this year with a goal in this game so far. And just looking at the notes, she came into this match with 1-4 in the championship so far, and she's already well added to that. So Carrie Dolan will take this free and looks for a chance to put Galway 4 points in front again. Carrie Dolan's contribution in the championship, I think she has scored 124. This will be her 25th white flag of the championship if it goes over the bar. So Carrie Dolan with the free, puts it over the bar. 8 minutes, nearly 9 minutes gone in the second half. It's 111 to 107.
Yeah, and they've really gone toe to toe for one another in this second half. You know, it's point for point up and down the field, so you feel it's going to take something big from Kilkenny maybe just to close that gap a little bit more and really make this into a contest coming down the home straight.
Eva Norris drives the ball down the field towards the opposing 45-metre line. Players jump up from both teams. It breaks for Katie Power. Katie Power looks up and tries to send it down in the direction of Katie Nolan, and Katie Nolan just lost her falling there after Shauna Healy went to ground, and that was enough with the Ardratton corner back to come back and retrieve possession. There's the pass up, and the referee says she fouled us, so it's going to be a free in for Kilkenny. The talisman for both teams are going to earn their crust now.
Yeah, and what a battle those two are having down there, you know, and they seem to be getting a lot of ball in there, you know. Katie Nolan obviously a target player for Kilkenny in that two-person full forward line, but Shauna Healy equal to the task there time and time again, and just as it looked like she might have lost her footing there, Katie Nolan did likewise, so a chance for Shauna to get back and eventually forced to overcarry.
Galway are asleep here. The free that he's got to Miriam Walsh, shot a goal! A goal for Kilkenny, and Miriam Walsh exploits gaps in the Galway defence for the second time in this match. And Elaine, I want to appreciate the Kilkenny goal, but that was careless from Galway.
Absolutely careless defending, you know, to leave Miriam Walsh free on the 21. She was so free, she had time to miss the initial catch, pick it up again and still get her shot away, but what a rocket of a shot when it did come.
It's 111 to 27. It's a 1 point ball game. What's going to happen the other end? Sabina Rabbit trying to find a way inside, and Kilkenny desperately getting back. They were nearly caught out of position as well. A scramble on the ball, and just like that, and I'll be honest, I was looking at Hillary's scores because Dublin has scored a goal against Wexford. They're level in that match at 1-7 to 2-4, and that Kilkenny goal coming out of nowhere. And the next score in this match, Elaine, you would feel is critical.
Absolutely. Look, and Sabina Rabbit very nearly got in for it there. Credit to Tiffany Fitzgerald. She got back and got the important flick on it.
Galway are on the move there again. I can't see the clear shot, but it was Aoife Donoghue, and a save there by Aoife Norris. It looked like. We'll have a look at the replay of that in a moment, and the referee has blown the whistle, is calling the player over. There's a Kilkenny player on the ground, and there's a lot going on here at the moment. Is he having a chat with Sabina Rabbit?
Yeah, I think it might have been Siobhan McGrath actually.
Yes, Siobhan McGrath, yeah.
And it looked to be a high and hard challenge on. I'm not sure who the Kilkenny player is on the ground.
We'll just see if we can get it up here again.
But
here we have it here now, Elaine.
It did look to be a high challenge on her. It's the shot from Aoife Donoghue. Super save from Norris in the goal.
And it's just the bar here in Kenny Park blocking our view at the moment. So the referee Andy Larkin is going to have a chat with Siobhan McGrath, and looks like she'll be the third Galway player to go into the book in this game. And we're just having a look around the field, kind of an impromptu water break going on as well. So Siobhan McGrath gets the yellow card, third for Galway in this match.
Yeah, it was, you know, probably a careless enough tackle. You know, Galway had the pressure on. I think it probably was Tiffany Fitzgerald, I think maybe
It
in the
looks like her,
Kilkenny
yeah.
full back line. So she's just getting a little bit of attention there. But as you said, momentum certainly swinging. We went from the Kilkenny quick free, Denise Gall to Mary Walsh. The puck out right back down. The chance for Sabina Rabbit. Chance again for Aoife Dunno. A yellow card for Siobhan McGrath. You know, this championship is really lighting up here.
Tiffany Fitzgerald, Kilkenny's minor vice captain in 2020. Down have scored a goal against Offaly in the another game in Group 2. It's now down 1-9. Offaly 8 points. We'll keep you updated as best we can what's happening around the country on a D-Day Super Saturday in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. And we hope you're enjoying our coverage here from Kenny Park at Athenry, brought to you in association with Entray on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. Galway in front by 1 point. It's Galway 1-11, Kilkenny 2-7. A draw will be good enough for Galway to win the group and march on to Croke Park in an All-Ireland semi-final. But a lot of Camogie to be played yet. Ailish O'Reilly with the ball. Goes on the move there, gives it to Niamh Kilkenny. Great first touch from Niamh Kilkenny. She weaves past 3 Kilkenny defenders. Tries to pick out Niamh Hanafy, but the hook comes in. Niamh Kilkenny goes again. She continues pushing forward. I think it was Steffi Fitzgerald that came to the rescue in the end. And Tiffany Fitzgerald has the ball. Niamh Hanafy looked like she was pulling the hand out there on the 45-metre line. The referee keeping a good eye on what's going on. Kilkenny have moved the ball. Now Galway have got the free in there. I think he might have missed the Galway player pulling the Kilkenny player though.
Yeah, I think there could have been grounds for Fitzgerald to have a free out there on occasion. I thought the hurl was being held back, but look, a superb display defending again. We had flicks, we had hooks, we had half blocks. You know, both teams obviously, you know, as we said, both teams qualified, but obviously this is far from a dead rubber.
Definitely not a dead rubber as well. Antrim lead Limerick by 1-9 to 1-5. Carrie Dolan with us free for Galway inside the 45-metre line. No score since the goal that came 4 minutes ago for Miriam Walsh, her second of the day. Can Carrie Dolan put this over the bar, which would be her 5th point of the match? If she puts it over the bar, she does put it over the bar. 14 minutes gone in the second half. It's 112 to 2-7.
Yeah, and exactly. Look, it's still going toe for toe, and Kilkenny, I suppose, a little bit disappointed despite that good goal that they're still, you know, trailing this game, and you feel they really need to try and get on a par with Galway here if they can try and push on from there.
Long drive again from Aoife Norris. Siobhan Gardner with a little touch in the direction of Shauna Healy. Both of them play for the Ardrahan club. Kilkenny have won the ball back. Michaela Keneally trying to lay it off for Katie Nolan. Katie Nolan will have a shot at a difficult angle, but it's a perfect angle for Katie Nolan. She puts it over the bar. It's back to a 1 point ball game again. 2-8 to 112.
Oh, what an ambitious shot from Katie Nolan, right out on the sideline. You know, it's one you'd say she probably shouldn't even be attempting, because the block from Shauna Healy was fairly close to her as well, but a super point, and it dropped lovely over the crossbar.
A super game of Camogie here in Kenny Park at Athenry as Carrie Dolan sends it down in the corner in the direction of Siobhan McGrath, getting away from Michelle T. And Siobhan McGrath with a bit of space. She likes to run at the opposition, known for her goal. She can hit some points still. Drops one towards the goal, but it trickles out and eventually goes out over the line and wide. So a wide there for Galway. Remains a 1 point ball game. And Elaine, you've scored there. Tipperary got a point, still a point up in Cork. It's 111 to 110.
Yeah, again, look, Tip hanging on in there. Obviously we don't know how that game is going, but they've seemed to lead from the start there. So, you know, if there was one huge performance in Tipperary, they seem to have saved it from today in the championship, and what a time to produce it if they are.
If Tipperary win that game, of course, if Dublin were to beat Wexford, it comes down to scoring difference between the two teams. They've drawn with each other. They came in with equal scoring difference in this match. This is Mary O'Connell. Mary O'Connell with a pass, popping out a bit too much purchase on the pass for Julianne Malone. A bit of an unforced error. It was there for Kilkenny, so it's going to go out wide. The referee is having a word with the Galway player, Shauna Healy. Not quite sure what he saw.
Yeah, I think he might even be calling it back for a free, as if he's booking her for a tackle there on Mary O'Connell as she was going through. He should perhaps call it back if he had signalled advantage, but I'm not sure if he has signalled anything or if he's just talking to Shauna Healy. She certainly has a yellow card, but yet to see if he's going to indicate a free.
Shauna Healy with a yellow card. There's another player on the ground at the moment as well, so we're just having a hold up in play here as the game enters the final quarter of the match. But I think Sarah Healy has the ball in her hands, and just a little like Rachel Hanafy is the player that's on the ground at the moment. And we've mentioned about the impact she has had this year, and it's really, Elaine, I have to say, a player that probably wasn't being touted about too much before the championship, but you'd imagine now she's doing enough to make sure she has a starting jersey for a quarter-final or a semi-final.
Absolutely, and I suppose when you see her then filling the role at midfield today when Galway need it, she just shows her versatility and the fact that she is going so well. You know, Galway and Cathal Murray happy to put their faith in her out around the middle of the field. So as you said, she's played in 3 lines already for Galway this year, so a versatile player like that and someone in the kind of form that she's in will certainly force her way onto a team and make it difficult for anyone else to take that jersey off her anywhere from number 2 to 9.
Galway had an unforced error there. Sarah Healy's attempted pass to header Cooney went out over the line. Katie Nolan restarted the action, and Galway, every time I say somebody gets control of the ball, they give it away to the other team as well. It's happening an awful lot as we watch Katie Power give the ball to Julianne Malone. Julianne Malone sending it down in the direction of Katie Nolan, but Siobhan Gardner getting in the way for Galway. Kilkenny still have the ball. Katie Nolan still has the ball. I'm counting 3, 4, 5 Galway jerseys in close proximity to Katie Nolan, and Galway again just putting in the work that they have to do, and Sarah Dervin, the captain, leads by example, took the challenge, goes to ground. Again it's Katie Nolan with the pass over Denise Gall trying to find a bit of space there, but Galway, if any player in the Kilkenny team, they're not going to give Denise Gall the space to launch a shot at the post, and we might be blowing this up in a moment, or maybe not. The ball breaks out. Heather Cooney trying to get ahead of Miriam Walsh, but gains a couple of yards towards Carrie Dolan, but not enough, and play is still inside the Galway 65 metre line, and finally Heather Cooney brings the ball down into space, but it's 2 Kilkenny players that will come to meet this, and they'll send the ball back down the field again. Miriam Bambrick, crossfield ball, and Katie Nolan in position. The Galway defenders getting themselves a bit exposed. Katie will turn on her right, goes for a shot at the post, and Kilkenny are back on level terms in Kenny Park. Katie Nolan starting to lay her mark as the all-star in this game. It's 2-9 to 112.
Yeah, and almost casually came out to that ball, swung it over, found herself in the space, and I think Shauna Healy, conscious that she was on that yellow card, knew that she couldn't be too close to her for fear that she might have given away a free. So Katie Nolan with the point.
Chance for Galway to respond here straight away. A shot at the post from Sabina Rabbit. She clinches the air. She knew that was a good one. She knew that was an important one. Sabina Rabbit makes it 113 to 2-9.
Yeah, and again straight away from the Galway puck out, as soon as Kilkenny get back on level par, similar to when they got the goal previously, Galway go up the field, they win that puck out and they go on the attack straight away, and this time a super score from Sabina Rabbit, and you know she's on fire inside there today.
Going to have a hold up and play. Niamh Kilkenny in a bit of discomfort at the moment, whether it's a cramp or just a slight strain. Of course, I mentioned Niamh Kilkenny broke into the Galway senior team in 2007, the same year she did the Leaving Cert. A student in Holy Rosary College, Mount Bellew. She also teaches there now as well, and Elaine, as we've seen here again in some of the attacks she's had in the second half, is still a real leader for this Galway team, and this will be a massive blow for them if she is to go off. Yeah,
and it does look like a little bit of cramp just having it stretched out there, but look, she has covered an ocean of ground again today, and those amazing runs, like when she's on the ball, you have to be on alert, because she's either going to score it herself or she's going to lay it off to a player. She just brings players around her into, and when Galway need her most, I suppose she pops up with one of these runs from her own half back line or from the middle of the field or wherever she is on the field, pops up with one of these runs, and as I said, either scores it herself then or pops it off to a player in a better position. But she's a super influential player for Galway and has been for all those years.
She's back in her feet, getting back in position and getting ready for the puck out from Aoife Norris as we look at the clock. 10.5 minutes to go here in Athenry. 1 point between the teams. Galway 113, Kilkenny 2-9 at 16:15. In anyone's language, favouring the host. And Rachel Hannafy has the ball. Goes on the move, sends it down the direction of Sabina Rabbit. Tiffany Fitzgerald wins the race on this occasion and drives the ball out the field of play. This is good for Kilkenny as Denise Gall has the ball. The Galway player Derva Higgins has lost the hurl. Denise Gall to try and level it again. And Denise Gall puts the ball over the bar. 10 minutes to go. It's all square. 2-10 to 113.
Oh, there was so much to talk about on that score. The way she caught it initially, you know, dropped in over Derva Higgins' head, probably just misread it a little bit, but the way Gall cushioned it down into herself, caught it up, realised then that Derva Higgins had lost the hurl and that she had a chance to swing it over, and a super score from Denise Gall. We spoke about Niamh Kilkenny leading on the Galway side, but Denise Gall is that exact player for Kilkenny.
Kilkenny trying to create an opportunity again. Miriam Walsh is on a hat-trick. She has 2 goals, and Sarah Dervin commits the foul. It's going to be a free in for Kilkenny, and this will be the chance for them to go in front for the first time since they got the first goal of the game for Miriam Walsh in the 10th minute. That put them 4 in front. Galway hitting in 1-7 unanswered before Kilkenny brought back to a 4-point ball game at half-time inside 10 minutes. And remember, Kilkenny have to win this game. If you're totting up the scores at home, you can add half a point for Galway in regards who tops this group. Denise Gall with the free puts the ball over the bar. Kilkenny lead by 2-11 to 113.
Yeah, and look, as we said before, you know, it seems to be from every Kilkenny score, the Galway puck, it seems to go straight down and get a score on the Galway field. So Kilkenny will be anxious to defend this one now. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Great catch there from Niamh Hannafy. She must be having the hand held as well. I think the lineswoman the near side of the field saw it. So it's going to be a free in for Galway. So that's spotted. He might be having a chat with Steffi Fitzgerald as well on that one. But either way, it's going to be a free in for Galway, and Carrie Dolan gets her opportunity to respond.
Yeah, you know, when we spoke about Denise Gall's superb fielding there a few minutes ago, that was a super take from Niamh Hannafy under serious pressure from a lot of the Kilkenny midfield and forwards there. But time and time again, Galway come back with that massive puck out from Sarah Healy, win it in their half forward line and go on the attack straight away.
Both teams will need to be careful. I think it's 7 players with yellow cards in the match overall as well, and nobody wants to carry a second one in the closing stages. It's Antrim 1-10, Limerick 1-9. Limerick making a bit of a comeback in that match, while down lead Offaly by 1-10 to 9 points. Those two games in Group 2 of the Glen Dimplex Senior Camogie Championship. Carrie Dolan with the free. Looks like it's going to drop short. Might drop in the house for Sabina Rabbit. She's definitely the target player in this match today. Sabina Rabbit turns on the right inside, puts them all over the bar. The sides are level again. Sabina Rabbit, what an afternoon she's having. 114 to 211.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic mistake, I suppose, from Carrie Dolan. That free just looked to get away from her as she got underneath it, but it dropped in dangerously there. And as you said, Sabina Rabbit is the kind of a player that you want that ball to be dropping on inside in the full forward line if it's going to be dropping in there. And she did really, really well to get out on it and turned quickly and got a super score.
I was actually just thinking a couple of moments ago, are we going to have any substitutions in this match? I think Kilkenny are getting ready to bring one on. I don't know if they have done it yet, or is it Galway? We'll check that in a moment. Michelle Tehan, the player receiving attention. Michelle Tehan has won 7 Leinster College medals with Loreto Kilkenny, and also has an LGFA Ladies Football Féile title to her name as well. And we wish all the young ladies football Féile players that are playing their competitions today all over the country, and best of luck to them. Camogie had theirs last week. Michelle Tehan is back in the field to play. I haven't quite worked out if a substitution took place there or not. I know the linesman Ray Kelly, the far side, had the flag out, so we'll keep an eye out on that. At the moment, we have 7 minutes of normal time remaining in this game as Katie Power gets ahead of Aoife Donoghue and sends the ball in towards the attack. But we can tell you, Aoife Prendergast, the Kilkenny captain, is on the field of play because she has the maroon helmet, the pinkish maroon helmet on her there as well. We'll find out who went off in a moment. So Kilkenny have definitely made a change. I'm not too sure if Galway have made one as well or not. Elaine, I don't know if you saw that with Steffi Fitzgerald with the pass for Denise Gall for Aoife Prendergast. Can she get a score in this game? Closed out by Aoife Donoghue. The two Aoifes going to war. The Kilkenny player goes to ground and the referee blows the whistle. We'll see the decision in a moment.
Yeah, I think it's Julianne Malone has gone off the Kilkenny team. Aoife Prendergast has come on. Galway I don't think have made the substitutions yet. They do have 2 on the line ready to go there, but Aoife Prendergast getting straight into the game, I suppose, from the word go there and winning a super free. But credit to Galway, they were putting severe pressure on her, and eventually the foul just came in. The Galway management team maybe not too happy with it, and I think Auntie Larkin going to have a quick word with Cathal Murray over there just about that particular free.
Cathal Murray looking very animated there at the moment as Denise Gall gets ready to take the free. I wasn't too sure exactly what way he'd given the decision at the time, but they have a few words. Happy to get on with it. Denise Gall is going to take the free right in front of the Galway dugout. Just over 5.5 minutes of normal time remaining. It's Galway 114, Kilkenny 211. Denise Gall with the free for Kilkenny, trying to put them back in front. Sarah Healy goes for another ball. The ball has gone over the bar. Denise Gall delivers again, 212 to 114.
Yeah, and I think that the umpire on the left there was certainly making us question that for a couple of minutes. He had a good look at it before he signalled it, but you know, credit to Denise again. When Kilkenny's need is the greatest, up she steps.
Aoife Donoghue wins the ball for Galway, goes in the move as Ailish O'Reilly out to her left, but Aoife might go herself. 2 hands like caller, she gets the hook there, about to pull the trigger. Ailish O'Reilly coming in there by Kilkenny's defenders, really much improved in the second half, and it has to be said, the Kilkenny defence.
That was super tracking back there by, I'm not sure was it, I think it was Steffi Fitzgerald from the middle of the field, but she stayed in beside Aoife O'Donoghue all the way, which is no easy task, and stayed for the hook and waited for it to come, and when it was thrown up was there for the hook, and credit her, she turned it over again, and a chance for Kilkenny to just regain a bit of composure at the back.
Play restarts with the throw in there, and Kilkenny have the ball, but can they find a way outside? Because Aoife Donoghue and Niamh Hannafy are closing up the shot with a gap in form, and Denise Gall filled in the blanks, and she sends the ball down the field again as Aoife Prendergast looks like she's playing at centre forward against Roisin Black. It's Heather Cooney that comes out to take the ball for Galway. Nearly 56 minutes gone, and this thriller has to be said in Kenny Park at Rye. Dermot Higgins loses out. Kilkenny in possession again. The player goes to the ground. Not too sure was it Steffi Fitzgerald there on that occasion. The referee says 2 minutes many steps against the Kilkenny player. It's going to be a free for Galway, and Galway look like they're going to make the first change of the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure how she managed to take too many steps when she was on the ground there, but certainly for Prendergast getting right into it from the get-go. As you said, she seems to have gone into that half-forward line. It's picking up Roisin Black in a direct swap with Julianne Malone, and changes now on the Galway team.
Yeah, Emma Helibert is the player that's on the field to play. I'm not too sure was it one or two changes for Galway. Indeed, there's two changes as well as Anya Keane, who's had a great introduction to the Galway setup. We saw her in Dublin Park Ballinasloe in the league match against Tipperary earlier this year. She did an impact that day too as well, and she's on the field to play. Galway showing their strength and depth. What influence can those two players have in the closing stages? 3.5 minutes to go. Kilkenny in front by a point, and Galway going to take the free. Carrie Dolan didn't take the free. She has the ball there now, as Emma Helibert actually took the free upon her introduction, but Kilkenny overturned the ball again, and Galway need to get themselves in position. When you have Heather Cooney, you never need to worry about that, but they've given the ball away. Eva Prendergast wins it back for Kilkenny. A shot at the post. Is it Mary O'Connell with the shot? We confirm the identity in a moment, but the ball has gone over the bar, and Kilkenny go to in front. Mary O'Connell with the point, 2:13 to 1:14.
Yeah, and Galway will be disappointed. You know, as you said, it was a ball that had come straight down the throat of Heather Cooney. Did really well to gather it, but just popped the pass out to Emma Helibert. Missed control for that split second and gave Mary O'Connell the chance to get in and get the shot away.
Carrie Dolan in for Siobhan McGrath. Siobhan McGrath trying to find a way inside, gets a bit of space, goes for a shot at the post. What a response from Galway. Siobhan McGrath puts the ball over the bar. This is a game we're going to watch the tape back on a few occasions. 1:15 to 2:13.
Yeah, as we said, up and down the field again. Every time it looks like Kilkenny might have got a little bit of a foothold, maybe gone that point or extra point up. Galway come back straight from the puck out, and a super score from Siobhan McGrath.
Aoife Norris about to take the puck out for Kilkenny. They lead by the 1 point. They need to win the game to top the group and go into the semi-finals. Ball battled down there, and Aoife Kilkenny involved for Anya Kane, and this will be Aoife Donoghue going on the move again. Aoife Donoghue, the player of the year in 2021, gets past the Kilkenny player who lost their hurl in the process. Now it's Tiffany Fitzgerald. Niamh Hannigan with the ball. Kilkenny are leaving gaps. You can hear the Galway supporters. Dermot Higgins to the right. Chance for Galway. Turns inside, goes down there. Can she pull the trigger? She still has the ball. Kilkenny get back in time. Niamh Hannigan, the ball gets blocked, and Kilkenny have it out. I think a Kilkenny player felt the worst of that, but I don't know how that ball didn't go into the back of the net by one of them. Kilkenny bodies put themselves on the line.
Aoife Norris stood so tall and so strong there to stand in the way of that Niamh Hannigan shot, but again Niamh Hannigan right down the heart of the Kilkenny defence, left that opportunity with the run from Aoife Donoghue, and Aoife Norris did so well to get a block on it.
Aoife Donoghue tried to pick out Niamh Kilkenny, doesn't get her on that occasion. Carrie Dolan there too, but it's won back by Katie Power. Katie Power lays the ball off, and Denise Gall getting into space. Kilkenny trying to work together, and they got themselves caught in 6s and 7s. Galway have it back again. This is Aoife Donoghue for the shot to level the game. The ball goes over the bar. The sides are level. It's 1:16 to 2:13. Elaine, I hope you can hear me because I can't hear you.
Absolutely massive score for Galway, and it's welcome from the crowd here as well. I think Angie Larkin maybe signalled 3 minutes to the sideline, so as we said, we expected this to go right down to the wire for both sets of supporters, and a change on the Kilkenny team here now.
Aoife Donoghue just on the ground at the moment, just taking a bit. It's Galway 1:16. It's Kilkenny 2:13. 3 minutes of added time. The referee has signalled. All square here between the two teams that have been unbeaten in the championship so far. They are level between Antrim and Limerick. So if that stays level, Limerick will qualify for the quarter-finals. If it stays level here, Galway will qualify for the semi-finals. We've had no updates from Group 1 for a while. Elaine is having a check on that, but the 30 minutes have nearly been played. We've 3 minutes of added time, and Elaine, you have an update there.
Yeah, and it's 4 minutes of extra time here. I misread the signal from Andy Larkin there, but stadium announcer just announced 4. Tipperary currently leading Cork in Parky Ring, 1:16 to 1:13 to Tipperary. 25 minutes gone in that, so as you said, a big performance from Tipperary down in Cork.
Down lead awfully by 110 to 12 points. We'll see if we can find out what's happening in the other two games in a moment. Of course, at the end we'll get all confirmation of the results and the pairings for the quarterfinals in both the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior and Intermediate Camogie Championship. Miriam Walsh with a shot for Kilkenny, and she puts the ball over the bar from a tough left angle. Miriam Walsh does it again, puts Kilkenny in front, 2:14 to 1:16.
Look, we knew coming here today we had two real kingpins of the Camogie Championship, but look, we've had leaders all over the field, and so many players have stood up when they've needed to for their county.
It's end-to-end stuff there as well as Galway are on the move again. Niamh Kilkenny looking at Sabina Rabin. A hurl has gone flying around the place. It might be Grace Walsh's, I'm not too sure, but play continues on. Niamh Hannigan Neither of these teams want to go through the quarter-final round, and Kilkenny defending like everything is on the line. Yes, both teams will be back in the championship, but will it be Semple Stadium or will it be in Croke Park? That's the questions, but you wouldn't think that. You would take the distance in All-Ireland semi-final, and All-Ireland final, dare I say. Kilkenny win the ball back. Ball's hand pass into space, and it's just brilliant to hear the atmosphere in the background there. Young players there getting behind, the majority of them, of course, being from Galway. There are some Kilkenny supporters here. Anya Keane moving down the left. Anya Keane getting within range. Anya Keane with the shot, and Anya Keane put the ball over the bar. We're level again. It's Galway 117, Kilkenny 214.
What a score, and what a, an audacious run down the left wing, hopped the ball off the ground, coming under pressure like that, got a shot away from the left hand side, and for a player just in off the bench like that to have that impact is massive. And look, we spoke about Galway's bench all along, and it's standing firm here today. A huge impact again from there.
Yes, indeed. I tell you that Catherine Finnerty came on for Ailish O'Reilly there in one of the substitutions. There's been plenty of them that have taken place. Mary O'Connell has gone off the field for Kilkenny as well. I do spot their number 19 on the field, which is Asha McCartney, but I couldn't even tell you if that was a direct substitution. So much happening here. 2 minutes to go of added time. Niamh Hannery on the move again, and she moves towards the 65-metre line, doesn't find Derva Higgins, and Kilkenny fighting to get on the ball as well. They need to get another score, looking for a free ball hit into space, and Aoife O'Donoghue has the ball for Galway on the 65-metre line, sending it towards the house. Aoife Norris has to deal with this very quickly and deals with the ball, gets it out the field, looking for a player. The referee has blown the whistle because Sabina Rabbit has gone onto the ground. Kenny Park has all of a sudden gone quiet.
Yeah, and look, I don't think it's anything too serious. I think she just came in on the end of that block from Aoife Norris and just maybe got a slap on the hand for her troubles, but the ref quick to blow it up. And I suppose from a Kilkenny point of view, you'd be disappointed maybe that he hadn't played on. It looked like they were going to gain possession in the middle of the field, and I thought maybe Claire Phelan could have had a free out on the occasion just before that, but it didn't, and play continues, and it'll resume around the middle of the field with the teams level, and we're down into the last minute.
Just there as we wait, then hopefully Sabina Rabbit is okay. We're having a look at this. I just can't make out that scoreline there. What, you're looking at Waterford and Clare?
Yeah, 33 minutes gone. Actually, it's game over, and it's Waterford 2-12 and Clare 1-12. So a 1-goal win for Waterford down in Clare, and that secures them, I think, second place in that group.
That does secure them second place in the group. And look at this for a scoreline that we're just getting in. 3 minutes to go. Dublin 4-13, Wexford 2-9. What a turnaround in fortunes there in the second half. And of course, the Camogie Association will confirm all that. But a volume bright, as I don't think Tipperary are going to beat Cork by that much. That's going to put Dublin in the quarterfinals ahead of Tipperary. If Tipperary hold on and beat Cork, Wexford led that game by 7 points, but Dublin 10 points in front. Again, we confirm all that at the end, but that's what it's looking like here at the moment. But who's going to top Group 2? The 4 minutes have nearly been played. It's 1:17 to Galway. It's 2:14 to Kilkenny, but there was a hold up in play. Kilkenny would surely get a chance. Will Galway give them the chance? That is the question. Andy Larkin, the referee, right in front of us here in the commentary box, is going to throw this ball in, and it feels like the most important throw in this championship so far. What a 2022 championship we have had. Anya Keane with the ball, battered down by Denise Gold. Two of them go to war. The ball stays in play. Kilkenny will want to keep it in play, goes out over the line, and the line person the near side of the field says it's going to be a Kilkenny ball, and it's going to be a Denise Gold ball. 4.5 minutes of added time have been played. Elaine, you know her, you played with her. What's Denise Gold going to do here?
Look, it's probably too far out. We're not looking at a score from here, but she's going to look to get it into a Kilkenny hand. She needs to find a Kilkenny hand and maybe get on the end of it then again.
Denise Gold sends it down. Miriam Morton's on the other far side, but Heather Cooney gets in the way. The referee's blown the whistle. It's all over. It's a draw match. I think Derva Higgins was the first to realise it's like a win for Galway. Carrie Dolan either way. It's a draw match. Galway 1:17, Kilkenny 2:14. It means Galway top the group. Kilkenny comes second. Galway are going to Croke Park. Kilkenny are going to Semple Stadium. Elaine, do your best to sum that up.
I couldn't half do it justice. I think both sets of teams there were a little bit disappointed that maybe the arrow was up and that they'd like to go at it again, and that we'd finish out with a score, but it was end-to-end stuff. Look, as we said, leaders all over the field from both sets of teams, and when the need was the greatest, they all stood up at their different times. We had scores aplenty, 1:17 to 2:14. As you said in commentary, we had hooks, we had blocks, we had tenacious defending, that last throw ball there was like a ball to win a championship rather than just to see who was going to top a group, you know. Brian Dowling, I think, summed it up beforehand when he said Galway like playing Kilkenny, Kilkenny like playing Galway. They go at it. There's no holds barred and there's nothing left on the field. And you can see from the Kilkenny, you know, obviously knowing that a draw puts them into second position, but, you know, they're still in this championship, and what you wouldn't give to see these two teams go at it again later in the year.
I know there was plenty of debate about what game we could have been at this week as well, but what a treat we had here, and both teams remain unbeaten. We'll have more on that in a moment. We'll also have Uachtaráin Hilda Breslin from the Camogie Association to update us on who's through. I know Limerick are gone in front against Antrim, Tipperary holding out against Cork, but will it be in vain down at the advantage against Offaly? But before we do dial in, the players that impressed you, but of course your overall Glen Dimplex player of the match.
Oh look, you could name not only 30 players out there today. I think players that came in off the bench had a huge impact for both teams as well. I thought all over the field they stood up when the need was the greatest. I thought Steffi Fitzgerald had a good hour in the middle of the field for Kilkenny. Denise Gall was just her unusual impeccable self, and again time and time again stood up when she was needed most. Marion Welch run really important balls, and Katie Nolan asked questions of Shauna Healy all day in there. In saying that, you know, Shauna Healy herself had a huge battle and probably came out 50-50 on it at the end of it. I thought that Galway half backline really came to fruition today and really established themselves. You know, Dervla Higgins probably played most of her game out around the middle of the field and got up for a point with Siobhan Gardner. Carrie Dolan as dependable as ever up front, but I just think for me today, Sabina Rabbit finishing with 1-3 probably announced her real arrival onto the senior inter-county scene, and to score 1-3 against that Kilkenny defence I think was a real statement of intent for her today, and for me she was just a standout player over the hour.
So Sabina Rabbit of Galway is the Glen Dimplex player of the match. We'll hear from her in a few moments. We'll hear from Uachtaráin coming Camogie in the hair and Hilda Breslin. We'll try and get the two managers make sense of everything, but don't go away. It's finished here in Kenny Park Athenry. Galway 117, Kilkenny 214. A draw match, but Galway are into the semi-finals. Thank you very much and welcome back here to Kenny Park in Athenry. And you might have just spotted Carrie Dolan in the background there. Presentation we didn't give her last week for her player of the match performance against Antrim. It's just been presented by Uachtaráin Cumming Camogie in there and Hilda Breslin, who are delighted to be joined here again with the player of the match in this game, Sabina Rabbit from Athenry. First, we'll have that presentation to Sabina. And now Sabina, just come up here to the microphone for a moment and just first, as we try and all catch our breath after that, tell me what it was like out there. That was just a magical occasion for Camogie, let alone such a competitive match.
Yeah, it was fairly hectic out there, and we were just after a performance and like to work very hard. I suppose two girls in the back of our mind were Becky and Orla McGrath, who lost their during the week to injuries or during the last few weeks. So we really wanted to give a good performance for them as well.
It's a nice give them a mention as well too, because they're missing out on the occasion too. But even yourselves as a team out there and the players that came on, we knew for Galway Kilkenny this was going to be a battle from the start to the finish, and so it proved to be from word go.
Yeah, it was fairly intense out there. And the pitch is in great condition and everything like that, so it was just great to get a right good performance ahead of the All-Ireland semi-final in Croke Park in a few weeks.
Kilkenny got an early goal, caught you out for a moment, went 4 points in front. You gradually worked your way back into the game, and indeed the big score as well. Siobhan McGrath did an awful lot of work, pulled a few players there. You show exactly how well you know this pitch in Athenry.
Yeah, it's a great pitch, as I was saying there, and we're just delighted to kick on now into the business end, and hopefully now we'll keep it going in the coming weeks.
1-9 to 1-5 at half time. Kilkenny kept coming back. They got the second goal. It was intent. You got a couple of scores, won a couple of important balls as well too. It was vital that nobody relented or took their foot off the pedal, because anytime anybody even took a half second, they got punished.
Yeah, like as I say, it was so hectic out there, like championship hurling, and we were just, as I was saying, like we were just basing off a performance, like so. I think we got a performance today, like so we're delighted with that.
Sabina, before I let you go for yourself personally, what was it like to play out there? Because I think it's the best Camogie crowd we've had all year. It's just a wonderful atmosphere.
Yeah, it's lovely to see all the young ones there. Like I was one of them a few years ago, so I remember it well. So we're enjoying it now for the weekend, and we'll kick on then on Wednesday again.
Well, you're the hero now. Best of luck in the All-Ireland semi-final, and well done to yourself. That was Sabina Rabbit from Galway, the player of the match here, and we're having a look around here if we get any management here. The Camogie Association are just confirming the results so far to make sure everything is proper before they give us the pairings for the intermediate and senior championship. So Elaine might come over and join us here just for a moment, and if we do see Cathal Murray or Brian Dowling, we'll interrupt straight away there. But even just talking there first, and Elaine, I know you'll be from Kilkenny there too, in front of what was a partisan Galway crowd, but it was just a wonderful atmosphere.
Absolutely, look, and the game lived up to every second of it. I was just talking to Trace Mara and Carrie Dolan there off camera, like, and you know they're still trying to recap it all, I suppose, and summarise it, but it was just a superb game. You know, Kilkenny get a point, they go ahead, Galway come up and win the puck, and they get a point and level it up. You know, it was end-to-end stuff. It was a terrific game for the full 60 minutes, and look, probably fitting that but there was no loser on it. It deserved maybe another day out, and look, as you said, you'd love to see these two teams go at it again later in the year.
Well, we are going to try and piece it together in a moment, but just in the background there I see Brian Dowling, the Kilkenny Camogie manager, just coming back out to us here, and delighted to see him. We'll keep an eye out for Cathal Murray as well and try and get some thoughts from him. Brian, first things first, thanks a million for coming back out here to join us as well. I'd say you must be sick of draws this year, because a draw ended up the league campaign, and while you're not out of the All-Ireland Championship, you haven't booked your ticket to Croke Park today.
Yeah, look, I'm not too fond of this. They score different too after again, you know, lost out in the league and lost out today. I suppose getting through to a semi-final, but look, I think anyone watching in there today, I think it was some game of Camogie. I said before the game, Kenny and Galway would just go at him, you just hurl, and that's the way it was today. Looking on, I'd say, you know, any neutral looking in, it's a fantastic game, and you know, it's just great. You know, for Camogie, if anyone's watching in, just to see like this is what these girls can do. Galway and Kilkenny, it's just unbelievable. It
was unbelievable, and a pleasure to be here too. The start of the game went well for your own team as well. Like, what a super point from Denise Gall from the puck off Mifa Norris very early. Miriam Walsh getting the goal, but I suppose yourself, you look at the second quarter and say you probably were a bit flat.
Yeah, but look, I think, you know, the wind was extremely strong, you know, it was very, very strong. Denise got an unbelievable point against that wind. I don't know how she scored from there, but, you know, to go in half time, 4 points down, I was happy, to be honest with you, against that wind. And look, when we got ahead, I was hoping we'd stay ahead, but unfortunately we just couldn't see it out. But look, Galway are a brilliant team, it's hard to put them away, and, you know, every time we got a score, they came back up and got a score. So look, we'll have to dust ourselves down. We're still unbeaten this year, so, you know, I said to the girls in there, there's this huge character. You know, I suppose there's people writing us off all year, we're missing a lot of girls, but look, I said to the lads inside, this is a new team. team now, and it's up to them to stand up. And look, I think it's Dublin we have in the quarter-final. That'll be a massive test now. So look, we just have to dust down and get the bodies right and look forward to the quarter-final.
I think anybody doubting Kilkenny's credentials got their answer here today. But as you mentioned, that second half as well, as good as the first half was, the second half was constant over and back. Big score here, big score there, big miss here, big miss there. Miriam Walsh getting a very, very important second goal.
Yeah, look, I said to Philly literally a minute before she got the goal, I said we're going to need another goal here to win this game, you know. In fairness, I actually half missed it. Denise, I think, took a shot free and Miriam buried it, you know. But Miriam has been flying for us, in fairness. She's doing that all year, and you know, great composure for the both goals, to be honest with you. Look, against teams like Galway, you know, you have to score goals to keep in touch with them, you know, because they're such a scoring threat at the other end. So look, delighted to get 2 goals today, and I said, look, disappointed we didn't get over the line, but look, we just have to get on with it now and get ready for a quarter-final.
Yeah, to be 6 down, you got yourself 2 points in front of the closing stages. No doubt you'd be a bit disappointed you didn't close it out.
Yeah, look, you're all disappointed, I suppose, but I said, you know, that's what Galway do. They have brilliant players, you know, Niamh Kilkenny, Aoife Donoghue, Niamh Hanley there was winning a few puckouts, and you know, they have players of experience and talent that are able to go up there and get a score. So look, I suppose we might go on for another couple of minutes, we might have got a score, Galway might have got a score, so look, we just have to get on with it now.
Well, Brian, thanks a million for joining us. We think it is Dublin you'll be playing. We'll get that confirmed from the Camogie Association in a moment.
Okay.
But Kilkenny's still in the championship. Thanks a million for being here. That was Brian Dowling, the Kilkenny manager. I do believe I see the Galway Camogie manager over there in the background, and I'm just signalling out to him. I think he wants to have a quick word with Brian Dowling beforehand as well, and Elena's having a quick chat with him there as well. I should nearly bring the microphone over there for that conversation, but we'll see what's going on in that chat there in a bit anyway. But they'll do their own analysis of this game, and then we'll have Uachtaráin Hilda Breslin back with us to confirm all the details for the intermediate and senior Camogie championships brought to you in association with Glen Dimplex. And just while we're waiting for Carl to confirm, next week there'll be a double header in MW Hire Moore Park Portlaoise, the intermediate Camogie championship quarter-finals, and then the senior Camogie championship quarter-finals take place on the 16th of July. That's in Semple Stadium in Thurles, before a big bumper day in the 23rd. We'll have senior and intermediate semi-finals, but that's a long way down the road there at the moment. So we're just waiting to see. We will have Cathal Murray coming over here to join us there, and of course it's the respect that these 2 All-Ireland winning managers have, that they want to have a chat with each other afterwards. And Cathal, I won't ask you about that conversation you had with Brian Dowling there as well, but no doubt a lot to analyse when you go through this game in full.
We're just talking about the semi-final draw. I suppose that, you know, the fact is, even after that game now, and we could still meet in the semi-final because it seems to be open draw, like, so I suppose that's something that has to be ironed out. But look, really happy with that game. Obviously, super game, super advertising for Camogie, I felt anyway. Kilkenny are a super team. We knew that. We knew there'd be a massive challenge, and I suppose that's championship now, and that's up a level and up a step from what we played already. So it's great to come out. Okay, we didn't win it, but it was great to get the draw. We knew how important it was up in Antrim to be ahead and scoring difference coming into the day, because there's always only going to be a point or 2 in it. So we're really happy to be top of the group. Yeah,
and I think it was I mean, Carrie Dolan and Derver Higgins, the first person to cop it in the full-time whistle, that the draw was enough as well. But of course, there was so many things you could go through in that game. You were in a winning position, then you were in a losing position. But again, the character and grit of your team to make sure you got something out of it.
Yeah, and we said a lot, in fairness. We were picking ourselves all the time about the character in the team. I thought definitely we were dead and buried for a while in the second half. It looked very unlikely that we get anything out of it. And even to finish then, when we came back into the game, I think Denise Gall gave a pass to Miriam Walsh there, an unbelievable score, and took up the field again. And Anya Kane's point there is as good a scores you'll see anywhere. And look, we're really happy to get a draw. We're really happy to top the group. And you know, as I said, we've loads to work on, huge amount to work on actually. But you know, we're happy to be there now.
Yeah, and you'll be picking out some moments of the game as well, Carl, you want to improve on. You'll certainly be disappointed how you conceded that second goal.
Yeah, we were very disappointed with that, and it's actually something that happened to us against Offaly earlier on, and happened against Limerick, and it's not something we spoke about. So we need to iron out that sort of thing. And look, they're only small details. You know, the last 2 minutes, you have to be really proud of the girls, really proud of their resilience, really proud of their character. And
performance for herself this year, but of course you've seen her do that already.
Yeah, look, Sabina's been a really good club player for the last few years, and a really good minor for Galway. And I suppose she came in and got we had a good few missing in the league because the Sarsfield girls weren't there, and we had a few injuries, and she got her chance and she's taken it, and came on in the league final, scored a point, and in the last few weeks she got you know, she deserved her chance and she got it, and today was really, as you say, coming of age. I think 1-3 she finished with, and you know, really good on the ball, you know, held it up in there and took her scores really well.
And now the road to Croke Park in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, look, we're delighted to be in Croke Park. I suppose that was the goal, and that's what we wanted to be. We wanted to top the group. We wanted to get straight through to the semi-final, and it's good. And it's lovely the semi-finals are on in Croke Park again. Look, our intermediates won today. We're in Croke Park as well. Or we're in Nolan Park the same day, and that's something I definitely want to emphasise. That I hope that the two games are on at different times. You know, I think the intermediates on at 2 and 4. You know, I don't know when the senior games are on in Croke Park. I hope it's 5 and 7 because, you know, we've a lot of people caught up, you know, in the backroom team with management and that sort of thing. But as well as that, you know, Fiona Ryan is our sub-goalie with the seniors, you know, and we don't want to make a decision to get Fiona Ryan to, you know, have to, you know, maybe miss out and play an intermediate semi-final because she has to be study back up for Sarah Healy in Croke Park. You know, Ciara Dunn is a massive player for our intermediates. Aoife is a massive player for our seniors. You know, where's Carmel and Allen going to go? Which match are they going to go to? Same as Sabina, her sister Ollie played today, played really well for the intermediates. You know, and then there's Tara Kinney's playing with our seniors, Cora Kinney's playing with the intermediates. You know, so I think that needs to be sorted out. I think it's brilliant to get to Nolan Park with the intermediates. We're really looking forward to it. But I think the two matches now, you know, you cannot have the same time, and I hope that's going to be sorted out. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's something that has been sorted out already. But just, you know, it would be very disappointing. Certainly a low point for me as a manager of both that if I wasn't able to go to 2 semi-finals. And I think I don't want our intermediates being penalised because both teams are really successful at the moment. So we're just hoping that's just something that will be sorted out, and I'm sure it is going to be.
No doubt someone's looking at them. We hope that's not the case, but at least called you have 2 teams in the Ireland semi-final.
It's a great day's work here, and yeah, we're thrilled.
And well done. Thanks a million for joining us as well, Colin. No doubt we'll talk again soon. That was the Galway Senior and Intermediate Camogie manager, Colin Murray, talking to us there. Now we're going to be joined by Ella McManus from the Camogie Association, Luke Duran, Cumming Camogie in the Hare, and Hilda Breslin. And we just get the confirmation details now because, well, results will be flying around the place through social media and all that. We need to make sure that everything is double checked as well. So, Hilda, if you want to come back over here and join us. So before, Hilda, we go through the details to confirm all the news about what's happening and when's it's happening. I've said it myself, and not just as a Galway man, I thought the atmosphere here today was one of the greatest atmospheres. It's been a super championship from the word go.
It's been absolutely brilliant. We were saying, if standing here, the number of kids, it was like a sports day at some stages. It was just absolutely brilliant. And to be fair to Kilkenny and Galway, every time they serve us up an exceptional game, and they did it again. We were all sitting here waiting to see what would happen. Kilkenny probably just slightly unlucky, you know. In fairness, there was nothing between the two teams, and it just shows how close the championship is. If you were to say to us, you know, 4 weeks ago it would all come down to the last Super Saturday, what would we have said to you?
Yeah.
You know,
all 6 games today, something to play for, like, you know, and we were trying to keep it tapping in. No doubt you were doing the same as well, and we're going to go through all that as well. But what a day of Camogie. You just have to say it very simple. I know I'm repeating myself, but what a day of Camogie.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, some big upsets, Tipperary beating Cork down in Parky Rin. These are the games you're looking for. So, I mean, people say there's a gap, but is there really a gap? Because anybody can be taken on any game. Intermediate seems to be equally competitive. We were coming down to score differences, and the Premier Junior. So, as we say, it's in a good place, Camogie, when we've got games like this to serve up to people.
Now we've a lot of people, not just from Galway and Kilkenny, but all over the country, trying to work out all this as well. So, are we? What way are we going to look at the intermediate first, or what way are we doing this?
We can do the intermediate first.
So the intermediate finished earlier on, so we're going to confirm the qualifiers and the pairings and whatever decisions have been made in regards to fixtures going forward to next Saturday.
Absolutely. So the intermediates have a short turnaround. They're out in the quarterfinals on the 9th of July in O'Moore Park in Portlaoise, and the first pairing we have at 2 o'clock is Derry v Dublin, and then at 4 o'clock we'll have Kerry v Meath. So that's a super exciting. I think Meath, a bit of an upset today. They, you know, knocked Kilkenny out. Kilkenny probably felt that they may have had enough to get through, but Meath put a big score up, and now they've made their place in the quarterfinals. So that's a huge achievement for them. And the teams through top into the semi-finals are Cork and Galway, and they're through to the 23rd of July in Nolan Park. So that's a big win for them, and then we'll see who will come out of that. The relegation is between Laois and Kildare in the intermediate. So I think they're exciting pair-ups. I'm not sure Derry v Dublin. I've seen Derry a couple of times this year. I think they're an exceptional team. They've got some beautiful forwards up there, and they still have some very good backline, so you would love to see them getting there. I think Ulster, they always say, is on the rise, and Derry probably want out of that intermediate, the same as Down and Antrim in the previous years. So
you're definitely motivated Dublin there, Hilda, anyway. And of course Kerry and Meath as well. So that's 2 o'clock MW Hire Moore Park, Portlaoise next Saturday. Derry against Dublin 2 o'clock, Kerry against Meath at 4 o'clock, Cork and Galway advancing to the All-Ireland Intermediate Glen Dimplex semi-finals.
That's it, that's exactly. And then in the Premier Junior on the 23rd of July we have the semi-finals, and that's an interesting matchup there. We've got an Ulster semi-final, Armagh v Cavan, so we're bound to have Ulster back in Croke Park, which will be brilliant for the colour and everything they bring. And then on the other side we have Antrim v Clare. Antrim, that's a very young team. It's been
great work this year with Antrim, because when I heard they were put in the second team, I was wondering about it, but they've really stepped up.
They've really stepped up. They've some lovely girls that have just come out of minor, very fast team. But Clare are vastly experienced in that Premier, and it'll be interesting to see, because many of them were subbing on the senior team that probably narrowly missed out today. So it'll be very interesting to see if the bit of experience will take it over the line for Clare, but I'm not sure anybody would call any of those. Cavan, the story of the last 2 or 3 years, out of the Nancy Murray, out of Division 3, out of Division 4, and now they're looking down into a Premier Junior semi-final and one stop away from Croke Park. That's a dream come true.
And a repeat of the 2020 final as well, and of course that couldn't be in Croke Park that year, but that's the carrot for all 4 teams that day. So that's the Premier Junior 23rd of July, that's confirmed. You've gone through the intermediate, of course. Now a lot of people have been getting their calculators out and hoping that their equations match what we have here. Let's confirm now what's happening with the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship.
So we've a brilliant matchup, and I think this is going to be something very special, and it's in Semple Stadium. Camogie loves Semple Stadium. It's a brilliant venue for us. And on the 16th of July, and it'll be live on RTE, which is also amazing for us and brilliant. The first matchup at 3:15 is a very exciting Waterford v Limerick. Waterford 5 times to make the quarterfinals, never quite reached the semi-finals. I suppose the question is this Waterford's year to reach the semi-final? It's a huge prize for them. Limerick, Caoimhe Costello, what can we say? Time and again,
the last few weeks has been
absolutely been outstanding, really. So I would say that between those 2 teams, there's never anything between those teams. So it'll be interesting to see. And then the second pairing we have at 5:30 is Kilkenny v Dublin. Kilkenny narrowly missing out, in fairness to them, on score difference. And Dublin, exciting game today against Wexford, and they really pulled it out of the bag.
Great strides this year, haven't they?
They really have, and it'll be very interesting to see Kilkenny v Dublin, because there's very little between them. I don't think puck of a ball maybe. Dublin seem to have got their tactics right this year, and they seem to be on a trajectory that, be interesting to see if they can take down one of the linchpins of Camogie and get their place back. The big prize for that, the winners of those games will be in the semi-finals. The semi-finals this year are in Croke Park. So will we see Dublin back in Croke Park for the second time this year? Will we see Waterford make Croke Park for the first time in a long time? Will we see Limerick? Neither of them have made it since they came out of the intermediate grades into Croke Park. Kilkenny, prize of Croke Park again for them. So they're all big, exciting matchups. I think, to be very fair to everybody, I'm not going to be betting on any of those games.
I'd say anybody held a betting on today's results would have lost an awful lot of money when we take everything into account. And we just have to give a shout, like Tipperary beating Cork, as you mentioned there. We thought that would have been enough, but not to be. That's how competitive, particularly Group 1 was this year. One of the best groups since I've been covering Camogie 15 years.
Absolutely, and Group 2 was equally competitive, because we were sitting watching to see what would happen between Limerick and Antrim. So, equally competitive. Offaly probably a little bit unlucky. They're now in the relegation. They're going to be against a very strong Clare team in relegation again. Clare had an outstanding Munster campaign, just maybe slow off the mark in the championship, and then they seem to be finishing very strongly in all their games. So I think, all around, it's been a brilliant campaign for us. It's been very tight, short, week in, week out. That's what the players wanted. That's what they've asked for. And I suppose the main thing we would say is you've got to get out and support them now, because there's big games, big stadiums. Let's see big crowds in those stadiums supporting the girls.
Completely support you in that as well. And look, you just have to look at the video of today's match as one prime example. Just to confirm again before I let you go, Outram, 3:15 Temple Stadium, the 16th of July, Waterford against Limerick, and then 5:30 Kilkenny against Dublin. And as you just touched on there, Clare and Offaly will be the relegation final in senior.
Absolutely, so that's it. So exciting games, Darren. So it is.
We'll keep
more nail biting for us.
We'll keep ourselves going for another month or so anyway. Outram coming Camogie here, and Hilda Breslin, thanks a million for joining us here on the stream live service of Galway against Kilkenny. And that's the excitement as well. We're going to bring Elaine Aylward in just to wrap up the coverage before we finish up here, as well as a near deserted now Kenny Park in Athenry. Certainly so much quieter, Elaine, than a while ago as well. Even we were talking about 10 minutes ago. Everybody gone trying to make sense of it all. And just again, at the risk of repeating myself or going on a bit, it's just been a pleasure to be here today with you.
Absolutely, it was just from start to finish. You know, from the minute we arrived in here, even ahead of the intermediate game, there was a buzz around the place. And as I said, the mini games at half time in both games as well, and then the senior game just topped it all up with the atmosphere and the noise in the stand coming near the end of it. And a draw, I think, was probably the fitting finish to it all.
Galway will probably be happier with the result because they're guaranteed their ticket to Croke Park, where Kilkenny will get another game, which would be no harm. Like, just quickly to go through, like, Kilkenny were very flat in the second quarter. I put that to Brian Dowling, when we were talking. But then Colin Murray will be very, very disappointed how they just went to sleep to allow Miriam Walsh. And like 2 goals she got today in this game as well, and 1 or 2 super points as well to get that goal that got Kilkenny back in it.
Yeah, look, I don't think either management will be going away 100% happy with the performance here today, which is not a bad way to be going into an All-Ireland semi-final or quarter-final. You know, there certainly was massive positives from both of them, but there's still areas to work on, you know, and I know that Galway goal will eke them a bit. They conceded a similar one against Limerick earlier in the year as well, so you know, it's something they'll obviously want to work on going forward. But look, they're going back to training now Tuesday night, looking forward to an All-Ireland semi-final in Croke Park, and you know, with things to work on. So that's exactly what Cathal wants. And look, he has the panel there to ensure that there's no complacency in this team. You know, if someone's not performing in training, there's somebody else. Look at Anya Keane came on there today, solos up the left wing, hops the ball off the ground under savage pressure from Kilkenny and shoots an equalising point like that. You know, you just don't get that kind of composure from a sub normally coming in off a field. And similar, Aoife Pendergast came onto the Kilkenny side, got involved in it straight away, set up a couple of scores, you know. So, you know, both of them will be really happy with the impact they got off their bench, and that's going to drive training on for the next couple of weeks for both sets of managements.
It certainly will as well. We look forward to seeing them again down the line as well. We have to give a shout out to our producer and cameraman here, Owen and Luke. When they go to try to do the highlights reel of this match, they're going to be very, very busy tonight, you'd feel.
Yeah, you know, you could put 60 minutes of a highlight together, I suppose. There'll be times, I suppose, Kilkenny won't want to see some of the Galway highlights and Galway won't want to see some of the Kilkenny highlights, but certainly overall, like we've said it all along, this championship has been immense. Every weekend you're going out, there's no gimmies, there's no predictions of who's going to beat who. It could be anyone on any given day, and it came down to the last minute in the last game in the last round of groups, and that's exactly what you want from a round robin group of games. And you know, as I said, 6 games today and something at stake for everyone in them. And you know, we go again now for most teams into a semi-final, quarter-final or a relegation final, so championship far from over.
5 live games coming up in North T as well, and people should really try and get out and about or watch them on television. Of course, well, the Intermediate Championship, as Hilda Breslin mentioned there as well. Some intriguing games next week. Derry against Dublin, Kerry against Meath, you've Cork and Galway and that as well, chasing doubles overall. That's going to be a very competitive championship leading to the closing stages. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, and I think you could see it today in the Galway performance. You know, Galway Camogie is certainly motoring at the minute, and you know, the conveyor belt is coming through from intermediate level, and similar in Cork. You know, they have a really strong intermediate team going well, and Derry with a bit of resurgence this year as well. So 2 really exciting quarterfinals next weekend for that, and as I said, 2 huge games for those teams, and to get into O'Moore Park, Portlaoise, and to get a chance to show off the skills there for a chance to get to an All-Ireland semi-final. It's a massive for those 4 teams.
The Camogie keeps coming ticking fast over the next few weeks, and we hope you enjoyed our coverage here in Kenny Park, Athenry today. The weather was good, but I feel a bit of a breeze and a few dark clouds, so I think myself and Elaine are going to wrap up. I'd like to thank again Elaine Aylward for joining me here in the commentary box, and of course to Owen and Luke from Entry, who are our producer and cameraman here today. Galway are through to the All-Ireland semi-finals, but Kilkenny are still unbeaten in 2022, and we'll be saying the same about them come the 7th of August. There's a long journey to go. We'll try and keep you up to date with all the happenings across all the tiers here, but here it's Galway, Kilkenny, a draw match. 2 heavyweights went to battle and they gave us a treat. The final score from Kenny Park, Athenry in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Draw match, 20 points apiece. It finished Galway 117, Kilkenny 214.